All right, welcome back to another episode of the Otter Players Podcast, episode 50, which seems appropriate and right on time, right after we came out from a great Xbox Developer Direct for the start of the 2025 gaming year, as well as the battle for $100 video games and the revival of Ninja Gaiden and much more. So, we're going to jump right into it. There's a lot to talk about, and yeah, we're going to see what everybody's been playing. So, Weeb, how are you, man? And what have you been playing?
Yeah, I'm good. Not much really. I'm sort of in a sort of rut this week. Watch mostly anime and some TV shows. They managed to catch up with The Sopranos for the first four seasons, so that's an achievement. The only thing I have been playing recently is Ninja Gaiden Sigma, sorry, 2 Black or Black 2, whatever it's called. Um, because yeah, that was announced at the direct, and I still have my Game Pass subscription, so I said why not. So far, yeah, I mean it's a Ninja Gaiden game. I'm not sure if that's the general consensus, but I do feel like it's easier than the first game. Though I do have some gripes. It's only the main problem is that because you're playing as a ninja and your opponent's a ninja, is fucking really hard to tell you guys apart. Like you're fighting enemies that look like you, and
Mm.
everything's moving really fast. And this game obviously relies a lot on blocking and timing. And then you're like, okay, wait, oh, I'm being beat up. I thought I was beating somebody up.
I've seen the camera angles on Twitter. Yeah, it looks insane. I wouldn't be able to keep up. It's moving crazy. Yeah, I'd be confused too. So,
Yeah, so that's like I'm like looking. Can I just give me like a really silly costume or something so that I can tell myself apart? Because that's fucking annoying. Like this is kind of like where you see other games that have this kind of action. People compare it to Devil May Cry and Bayonetta. I don't entirely agree because those games are way more about style and about juggling, and this is more bit more timing based. But I mean, yeah, who's to say? But I'd say those games at least have the advantage that you will never fucking confuse your character with your enemies because they have very distinct designs. And this is kind of, yeah, I don't know if it was the criticism of the original game, but it's noticeable that that's the thing. Like you get hit unnecessarily because you're confusing yourself with the enemy. That's never a good sign. Um, but yeah, I mean, I'm pretty early in. It at least in terms of performance, it looks fine. It plays fine. It's a Ninja Gaiden game, so yeah, I'm probably gonna finish this because it's available anyway, and then figure out what the hell I'm gonna play next, which probably will be Pirate Yakuza if that has come out by that time.
mm.
So yeah,
That's what's up. That makes sense. Yeah, that game's looking better and better. Speaking of which, the Pirate Yakuza game, as all these games
absolutely.
inevitably get delayed, it's starting to just kind of clear the way for that game by itself. So,
Mm-hmm.
uh, might be something
Yeah,
that
yeah.
I end up playing as well.
GTA
Um,
6 should be worried.
yeah, I hear you. Morgan, how are you and what have you been playing?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good. I have been solely obsessed with Kingdom Come Deliverance 1 currently. Absolutely loving the game. Fantastic. It's gotten to the point where, I'm just thinking about it all the time now. uh, the story, the characters, and the gameplay are just really on point. I really love the aspect of like it trying to be more on the realistic side. Um, combat isn't easy in this game. And Nate would know he was listening to me as I was trying to duel while I was participating in a tournament, like a side quest. And it's not easy. The combat requires you to actually pay attention and basically strategize as you try to hit your enemy. Like, it's the old school knight, you're dueling with someone. And, if they hit you, if their sword is up and to the right, you have to hit them, from the bottom to the left. You're trying to hit their weak points that they're not protecting. And everything depends on, the weapon type and how much armor they have on and how strong they are. And it's like, if they're wearing a lot of armor, you should probably use like a blunt weapon, like a mace or like an axe. And, you can have a shield with a short sword or a shield with a mace. And if you can't have a shield, if you have like a long sword, like it's just so much that goes into it. And, it really depends on how good you are at pairing. Pairing is really important in this game, and the window is definitely small. It's a lot wider if you're fighting an enemy who's weaker, but the stronger the enemy gets, the shorter the parry window is. But once you start to master it, like, it's just really fun combat. And I'm just having a really great time with it, and playing this almost knight character. Yeah, the only downside, like I said last week, is the 30 FPS that I'm stuck at because they haven't done a next gen patch for the game. But um, everything about this game has gotten me really excited. Um, okay, Omar.
Omar.
Everything about this game has gotten me excited for Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. I can't wait to see what they add and the quality of life that they add to the game, because I don't really have too many complaints besides like maybe like the save. Um, the way the game works when it comes to saving is that it does have like a really good, as far as the number of saves. It saves manually after you complete every quest, and it keeps it in a save file. So I think it has like up to like 100 something save files. So if I ever mess up a quest, like if I mess something up 8 quests ago, I can go back to that particular quest and just load up that save file and start it over. But you know, and that's the auto save, sorry. But manually saving, uh, it's not difficult to do, but it requires extra steps. Like, in order to, if I wanted to manually save in the game, you have to buy, the saves are an item in the game. Like, they're like a drink that you have to purchase. And obviously it costs money, so you have to have money in order to save, essentially. And using the saves, drinking the potion that saves causes you to be drunk, essentially. Well, not drunk, but tipsy. And that changes the behavior of your character, obviously. You get a little wobbly, and you get a little off balance. I was playing this one particular mission where I had to go up into a mine because we investigated some issue where they were making fake currency, and now we had to go into the mine to confront them, essentially, the people who were making the fake currency. And it was me and another guy who I had actually asked to help me on this mission, which I'm glad I did, because I wouldn't be able to do it on my own. And that was an option to do so too. Like, I could have taken it, I could have done it by myself, but and I had saved like right before we went up to the top of the mountain, because I was like, I'm probably gonna die, so I'm gonna need to reload and save again. And saving, on top of me taking other potions to increase my strength and increase my agility and all that other stuff, all these other attributes, made my character wasted. Like, he was like butt face wasted. And I thought the game was glitching because my character kept kind of like toppling over and falling and doing, going, it's a first person perspective game. So the camera was just going crazy. And I'm like, is the game glitching? And I realized, I finally, after like the third or fourth time me doing this, I realized, oh, I see the attribute where he's drunk. And then, I'm fighting all these characters. My character is like burping and farting and just like toppling over other people. Like, it was the funniest shit ever. It was just like he just could not keep himself up on 2 feet at all while he was fighting, and I was just like relying on the other character to help me out because I was so wasted. But it's stuff like that in the game that really made it fun for me. But yeah, it's just all these little attributes and stuff that happen to your character that can change the way the game plays that makes it fun. So I think Kingdom Come Deliverance comes out like early February, like February 7th or 4th, something like that. So it's like right around the corner. So hopefully I can beat this game and then go straight into Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. But highly recommend if you're looking for like a fun RPG to play. It's definitely addicting. And I really like the character that I get to play. So yeah, that's what I've been playing.
It sounds like we're all pretty much committed to one game here or there for the most part. So I can definitely get behind that because that's been the same thing for me. But yeah, listening to you play that game and it's constantly joking about it being your Ulrich von
My
Liechtenstein
Ulrich
story.
von Liechtenstein.
Yeah, for anybody that
R.I.P.
doesn't
Heath Ledger.
know, yeah, anybody that doesn't know what that is, that's the movie A Knight's Tale. If you don't know about it, you need to know about it, and you should go watch it if you
Facts.
haven't, because it's an amazing
Goated
movie.
movie.
Absolutely. But yeah, Omar. Besides watching something random in Dutch a minute ago, uh, what have you been
Wait,
playing, sir?
hold up. First up, that was English.
It
My bad
sounded
about that.
well. She sounded Dutch,
Um,
so
I I couldn't even hear it, but okay. Second thing, I had a long week. Um, I I started and finished Dararan, Dararan, the anime. Great anime. I had a blast. But I already knew that because I read the manga for a bit.
I was about to
I
say you
also
read a
finished.
whole manga. I was like, I was gonna be impressed.
Oh wow, applaud.
Yeah, I read One Piece, so of course I'm
But
reading the
I was
I
gonna
mean
say
manga.
that's
you read a
I
whole
also
manga
read.
besides One Piece.
I also read close to more than half. Promise, the Promise Neverwell, but that's a different conversation.
Mm-hmm.
I also started and finished Chainsaw Man, which I I need to sit down with people that enjoy it and talk about it. Cause
So have you played any games, Omar?
for games, I actually beat. So I have beat Legacy of Kain Part 2, the remaster, mostly because my game had a game breaking glitch and I chose to watch the ending. Well, the ending on the final area on YouTube. Because the story is super interesting. It
I
started
know.
by. Sorry?
I know, but did you say you didn't finish it, or did you finish it?
I didn't, because
Ah,
my
okay.
game glitched.
All right.
So, and I wanted to know what's gonna happen, so I just watched the ending on YouTube. And luckily, the person that I was watching literally played like me. It skipped every single optional battle because the gameplay is terrible for part two. But that's a different conversation. Other than that, I started and finished a Metrovania called Turbo Kid. Basically, you're a little boy or a dude on a bicycle, and the boss fight actually happens while you're at the bicycle. So it implements the bicycle combat gameplay, and I love that. That's so unique. I'm always looking for unique Metroidvanias. And after that, I started a little bit of Gundam because I knew I'm gonna play Gundam. But then one of my most anticipated game came out, Under Lilith Magnolia, and I'm close. I think over the half right now, and I can't stress it enough. Get Under Lilith. If you're a fan of Under Lilith, the first one, I'm gonna leave it at that.
All right.
Go. Yeah, again, Omar proving to always break the mold, even when we're all playing one game. Omar is playing 60 of them. So shout out to Omar,
It's
his
keeping it
small.
attention,
alive.
his lack of attention requires that.
It's small. They're small games. Like
I
when
know.
I
I'm
played
He
just
needs this
messing
man
with
when
needs
you.
when
constant stimulation,
when
man.
when I played Cyberpunk, I played only Cyberpunk. I didn't touch
Listen,
a single
sir,
other
this is what I'm
game.
talking about. See, you can't even concentrate on the conversation while gaming. We can hear you gaming in the background, bro. Look at him quiet.
What?
I said, we can hear that controller going in the background, sir. You can't even give us your full attention.
No, I gave you my full attention.
Is that why you're gaming?
He said,
No,
"Yeah, you got it."
The reason why I didn't go in depth about Underrated Magnolia because
It's like he hears something else because that's not what I said.
Yeah.
Oh, I
No,
know.
you said that I
Oh,
can't even.
Omar,
Let's
put
move
the
on.
controller
Let's
down.
move on.
Put the controller down, sir.
Have you
I
have you
did.
have you met this man? He's an addict.
That's what I'm saying.
No,
It's just like constant stimulation. That's what this man needs.
no. I knew he was gonna be playing that anyway because when the first Ender Lilies was out, I
I
swear he
have
said the
been.
title of that game like 400 times. Like I
I've
swore he
been.
was
Yeah.
never gonna finish that game
Which I've been
when the
up.
first one came out.
I finished it.
You're not listening. You can't hear, can you?
No, I didn't hear.
He said no.
Yeah, you might want to adjust that in the meantime because it's gonna be weird having a conversation you can't hear. But anyway, as for games that I've been playing, yeah, I pretty much same thing. After I beat, I don't know what was the other game, Wolfenstein. After I beat Wolfenstein, I didn't really know what to play. I was kind of bouncing around. Eventually,
Which one? The New Order or
the New
Colossus?
Order.
All right, right.
Yeah. Then
Which route did you go?
which oh I forget. I went the one where you get to hack stuff. You get to as far as you're talking about the two guys where you choose between the two guys.
Yeah, who did you save?
I think I saved the older guy because he gives you the ability to
Uh,
hot wire stuff.
yeah, but come on, man. You missed out on Jimi Hendrix.
Yeah, I mean, I knew I saw the difference, so I went back and I saw like the alternate viewing through YouTube just to see see the differences and how it would work. So I did see it, but yeah, I chose him because of the health upgrades he gives you. That's why I chose him because I looked up what was the actual
Man,
in-game version of the choice.
you fucking min-maxer.
Yeah, apparently I chose
Eh,
the other guy last time though because I got a trophy right after I chose him. So apparently there's a trophy going either way.
But if you play the new Colossus, definitely go with Wyatt because the ending doesn't make any sense if you go with Fergus.
Got you. Yeah, I'm gonna get around to it because the goal is to complete the series, so I definitely will. Um, but yeah, right after I beat that, then I ended up settling on Maneater from Tripwire Entertainment. The shark game, as most people refer to it. I had a lot of fun with that. I beat it. Um, so again, it's nice and refreshing to get through some games consistently, starting off the year strong, 3 games beat before we even get out of January. That's how I like it. Again, the game was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed my time with it. Once you really get going with the shark evolutions, then like the fun really starts to kick in, and you just cause all kinds of mayhem and go crazy. You also have the cross progression between the PS4 and PS5 version with the trophies that auto pop. That game is really really impressive when you go from the PS4 version to the PS5 version. Like, I don't know what the difference is. I didn't look it up, but I'm assuming it's like resolution or something, because the game just gets an infinitely clear, like more clear. And obviously, you play the game underwater all the time, so like clarity is definitely important. But it wasn't unplayable or anything on the PS4 version, so I played that, transferred the save over, and finished up on the PS5 version. Again, like I said, the
Is
game
that
was a lot of fun.
That you heard it, folks. That's how this man gets his trophy score.
Hey,
is,
do
is
it.
that
I
the
had to play the
game?
game,
Is
so
that the card game that they
Uh-huh.
give away on PS Plus?
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, man eater.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
beat it. I just wish I could play the DLC. I need to buy the DLC because I enjoyed the game.
Yeah, I bought the
It,
DLC, so I'm playing through the DLC right now. I'm almost done with the
Yeah,
DLC.
if you
Um,
enjoyed that, I do recommend the card game that I played because they're practically similar, if that makes sense. But yeah, great game.
yeah, like I mean, it's a solid game. I don't know if I'm about to jump into another shark game or anything, but yeah, it was nice to get through a couple shorter games. As most people know, I usually play 80, 90, 100 plus hour JRPGs that take forever, which I love, but I definitely wanted to get some of the shorter games on my backlog out of the way, and I'm enjoying it. So, yeah, that's basically what I concentrated on. And then after I beat that, I was playing Fortnite for a bit because they got Kaiju number 8 uh, collaboration going on, and I'm a massive fan of Kaiju number 8. So that was actually pretty cool to get to see that in game and play around with that and finish out the season that's ending on that pretty soon. And then I got back into where I left off on Chained Echoes, which a lot of people attributed to being the closest thing story wise to Xenogears in a modern take, and it does have mechs in it and the like. So yeah, I'm looking to enjoy my time with that as well. But obviously, we're also getting into the start where a lot of the anticipated games are going to start coming out. So we'll see what's happening here. And then on the screen right there, you have what Morgan was talking about, part two for um, your game, Kingdom Come
Like,
Deliverance 2.
looking sexy.
Yeah, it's looking a lot better. So,
Yeah.
yeah, I think a lot of people are going to enjoy that and seeing a lot of hype for that. But yeah, we're going to jump right into our first topic, which, like we said, is the Xbox Developer Direct. Uh, Microsoft set it off in a good tone. Just to set the mood. If you've seen it, it was kind of no extras, nobody stepping on stage. We didn't need to see the executives and this, that, and the third. They got right into the games, right into the developers, getting to see the behind the scenes for a number of their upcoming games, Doom: The Dark Ages, as well as Clear Obscure Expedition 33. Um, we had the surprise drop for Ninja Gaiden, uh, not only Ninja Gaiden 4 announcement, but also the Ninja Gaiden Black 2 uh, remaster there that they put out as well. That was released on Game Pass and released also on PlayStation 5 and Steam for $50. And as well as, what was I'm missing one other game. South of Midnight, which again was really good because that game is looking phenomenal. So we got to see a deeper look into a lot of these games, and like I said, overall the show wasn't too long. I enjoyed my time with it. I gave the game a B, the show a B myself, based on what I was interested in. Uh, but the pacing and everything unquestionable. I love that they could keep that type of pacing and whatnot for all the rest of their shows if they want, and I would not care. That would be perfect. But yeah, we'll jump into what everybody else thought about it. So Morgan, we can go ahead and start with you. How did you feel about the Xbox Developer Direct?
Yeah, I absolutely agree. The pacing for the show was fantastic. I think Xbox is finally, as far as their showcases go, kind of figured out the flow that they want to do for their shows. Just go from game to game. Don't do that whole, interview of the CEO or whoever who's not in charge of the game. Like, we don't need breaks in between. Just go from game to game, keep the games coming, keep the pace good, right? You start off with something high, like the revival of Ninja Gaiden, and then you end off on a high note too with Doom, right? So I think they did a really good job as far as like the cadence of the show goes. Me personally, as far as the showcase, I also gave it a B. And that's not to say, like I said, they did a great job. It's just as far as the games I was interested in, because I don't really care for Ninja Gaiden, but I'm happy for people who were looking forward to Ninja Gaiden, or wanted that game to come back, because I know it's a big for a lot of people, and I see a lot of people posting it, playing the game. So it's good to see gamers happy, getting, a revival of a series that has been, in the dark for a while. And it looks good. It's on Unreal Engine 5. It's multi-platform. It's everywhere. I think on PS5 and Xbox, it's like 120 FPS, supposedly. So that's awesome. And then we know Weeb's playing it, so he's having a good time, despite the the little
Yeah,
technical difficulties. Yeah.
yeah,
Uh
the inferior version. I know.
yeah. So, it sounds like, yeah, Ninja Gaiden's cool. What I'm really happy about that we got from the direct is the release dates. That's what I was really looking forward to. Um, we got the release date for South of Midnight. It was pretty much what I thought it was going to be, April, which is awesome. And also the same month, we also got the release date for Expedition 33, which is also April. Very interesting choice there. I know South of Midnight is a smaller game. It's AA. I think they're only going to be charging $40 if you buy it. So I assume, from what I'm hearing, I think it's only going to be from about 8 to 12 hours long, which is not bad at all. That's pretty much what I think we all thought it was going to be. I don't think any of us were expecting it to be like a 30, 40 plus hour game. We thought it was going to be a smaller experience. So from, you know, even though it's really close to Expedition 33, those are two games that I'm definitely going to be playing: South of Midnight and Expedition 33. I think it's more than enough time to finish South of Midnight and then go right into Expedition 33, which is obviously going to be the bigger game. I think they said that was going to be 40 to 50 hours, I think, depending on, if you do everything in the game or not, which makes sense. It's a inspired JRPG, so yeah, and it looks freaking fantastic. They did a deep dive on it. They talked about their inspiration for the game and how they were. I think that was kind of like Nate said earlier. That was one of the highlights for me, was them, talking about how, their love of JRPGs growing up and everything like that made them want to make their own and kind of put a new spin on what JRPGs offered, which is the more AAA, bigger budget, photorealistic version of a turn-based. Which is what a lot of people, funny enough, have been asking for from a certain publisher, Square Enix.
Mm-hmm.
And funny enough, now we have to have exactly a French developer to come out and essentially show Square what they should be doing. And that's what I really hope comes from this. I hope this game is not only successful because it looks like a great game and it's going to be fun, but also to show Square that turn-based isn't dead and that you don't need to change a tried and true formula because you think that's what the masses want, right? You can make it a great, appealing game for everybody, still turn-based. I mean, we've seen the renaissance of turn-based happen, especially during this generation, with things like Persona and Yakuza, right? So it's like, for Square to be like, no, the masses want action-based games, and then for those action-based games to not do well, it's just, I don't know. I feel like it's a sign of things that Square needs to go back to what they are known for, what got them to the position in people's heads as the JRPG kings they used to be. But yeah, Expedition 33 is looking freaking fantastic. Voice acting on point. I love the overlay map that they have. Really, really cool, really colorful. The little character that you get to float on top of to take you from place to place looks he looks crazy. The little cloud character. It looks like we're gonna meet some colorful characters in the game. In that we meet in this game, because the overall color palette is very kind of drib as far as like the main story goes. You see that the darker tones, and we don't really see much splash of color, obviously, to fit the narrative of what is happening in the game, right? People are dying of a certain age, which kind of made me laugh because I was like, I'm 32, so the fact that the main character is also 32 and it's and he's scared because next year it's going to be him being dead, essentially. So that's why he's going on this expedition. So I was just looking to side out like, oh damn, this will be my last year too. We got to fix this, guys. We got to kill that witch. So yeah, Expedition 33 is looking great, and that skill tree. I don't think I was maybe paying attention hard enough when when the direct was going on, but I went back and watched it again, and I didn't realize that the skill tree was so in depth. Like there was a lot going on in that skill tree. So it's going to be a lot of customization that goes on with your character. It looks like you're going to be able to have different builds and everything like that. So I was just like, that's impressive coming from, a studio where this is their first game, I believe. So it looks like they have a lot to go on. And they even said that the combat, their first iteration of the combat was uh so hard that they still have nightmares about it. Now they had to tweak it to make it, more accessible and easily playable. That was funny. I wonder what that first iteration was like. But and then the narrative director, that the lady that was talking, she looked like she was really passionate about the game and the story, and she had a real story to tell that she wanted to get across for this game. Everybody on the team looks like they're really um passionate about this game, and that's what we want to see. We want to see devs that really believe in their project and they really love it, and it's something that they actually wanted to make. They weren't forced to by like a publisher, or to meet quotas, or deadlines or whatever. It looks like this was a game that a bunch of friends came together and made because they loved JRPGs, which sounds flippin' amazing to me. But yeah, what do you guys think? What do you think, Weeb?
Yeah, I mean, overall, I agree with you. The pacing was great for the show. Unlike previous shows, they finally learned, when basically to shut up. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, I mean that's it. Like just show the game, show the gameplay, and don't talk, or if you talk, just explain the game, and that's it. But yeah, great selection. They're giving us, basically what you can look forward to in the coming months for Xbox. So obviously, the elephant in the room is that they're also very gleefully advertise. Oh, it's also coming to PlayStation.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Um, yeah, I mean, but we know that. I mean, it's a given, and probably all of the games that are shown there at some point will come to PlayStation. That's the strategy, and it is what it is. Um, but yeah, I mean, yeah, of the games like South Midnight, I like you, I'm also very excited for it. So I'm looking forward to getting my hands on that on Game Pass, since I'm still subscribed. Expedition, I um, it's also come to Game Pass, right? So
Yeah.
yeah, I kind of like it's one of those games where I'm also tempted to get it, to buy it. Um, but yeah, it is coming to Game Pass. So
Hey,
probably
nothing
will,
wrong with that.
yeah. I mean, what probably will do is I'll check it out. Like if because that's what I've done. Like with Union Chronicle. Like
Mm-hmm.
it was in Game Pass. I played a bit of it. I liked it, and I thought, okay, I'm gonna buy for PlayStation because
Mm-hmm.
I can get gonna try to get the platinum. And it's probably the same thing I'm gonna do there. Just try it out, see if it actually is everything we hoped it would be.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
And if so, yeah, I'm gonna get it and play it by leisure, and not having to uh, uh rush through it, just to make sure that I'm gonna be able to finish it before it leaves the service.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but yeah, I mean, it's great that it actually showed a bit more of the game, and that there's yeah, sort of open world, and in a sense that that's exploration. Yeah, I mean, it's very intriguing. As you said, like the whole story, as soon as they announced it, um, the setting, and of course, that it's a turn-based RPG that looks, I mean, the thing is, we all know turn-based RPGs are great, but
Mm-hmm.
that they're just like, yeah, like I said, like they're showing up squares, and yeah, look, you can make a fucking cool, turn-based RPG. You don't
Facts.
have to. you don't have to, and that's the thing is like probably if they hadn't done that, that game would be less interesting. I mean, not saying that it would be a bad game, it would be less interesting because
Mm-hmm.
they went with this route, and it at least it's paying dividends in terms of it's so highly anticipated because a lot of people who are fans of turn-based RPGs who are disappointed with what direction Square is going are like, yeah, this is what we want, and we've been telling
Exactly.
you this is what you need to do, and this works. Now this can be successful. So yeah, yeah, the Ninja Gaiden announcement was definitely a nice surprise. Yeah, I mean, like I said, I'm playing Ninja Gaiden 2 Black. Yeah, Black. I think it's not Black 2 Black. Yeah,
Mm-hmm. Shadow dropped that. That was a nice surprise.
yeah, definitely. And then yeah, an announcement of 4 coming later this year, which is definitely a game that at some point was exclusive to Xbox. So it's great that they sort of leaped off, jumped from that, and say, okay, yeah, that this is a great franchise that we're going to bring back and announce on our showcase. So yeah, that absolutely a plus for them. And yeah, the final game, of course, was Doom: The Dark Ages. Um, Looked great at what they showed us, but like we were talking about, when we were watching this offline, was the soundtrack, which is my biggest pet peeve because the soundtrack is obviously one of the key pillars of the modern Doom series, with the fantastic soundtrack of Mick Gordon, whose relationship with id Software was clearly ruined because of id Software treating him like shit, and yeah, very clearly he's not returning for the third iteration of this version of Doom,
Mm-hmm.
and it's noticeable. Like, I mean, they're obviously trying to make a metal soundtrack, and but you've pointed out, like they were really quick with, oh yeah, and the soundtrack
Yeah.
done by blah blah blah, and then they were moved on to, oh, and now about the story. Like,
Yep.
you you knew that they knew that they fucked up, right? Because I think, like, I mean, it was a decent soundtrack what we heard, but nothing particular special. Like, it was a very generic, metal soundtrack. Like, and that's would be fine for most games, but not for Doom because that soundtrack was so unique. Like, if you've seen some of the documentaries made, how he creates that sound, like the thing that this man does, that like Mick Gordon is a wizard, and the fact that they lost him of for stupid reasons, like I don't know what the hell they were thinking. Like, I hope that they at least address that when they review this game. Like, even if the game turns out to be fine in terms of gameplay, that like, yeah, but we are missing something because that soundtrack was so fucking good. Like it like you felt it like in your bones. Like
Mm-hmm.
every time you were playing a section where an arena fight, or like with a turn like a gore nest, like when that soundtrack played up, or when you met a marauder, like it was so fucking good. Like it was like the hairs on your arm were like turning upright just because you knew, oh yeah, it's coming. And the soundtrack was like, it felt like you were moving around. You felt like you're moving around almost at the beat of the soundtrack because it was that well
Yeah.
adjusted to the gameplay. And yeah, I mean, I've played the DLC of Eternal, and at that point, they already broke ties with Mick Gordon, and the soundtrack was done by somebody in house, and you could already notice the difference. Like it was sort of passable, and the only thing that was interesting, the only thing that motivated me to continue playing was sort of that they continued the story, and sort of wrapped it up, and that's but that's about it. Like I was not engaged. It didn't have a blood pumping like it did with the main game. And yeah, the soundtrack was definitely missing, and that's the biggest concern I have for this game is that despite all the cool stuff they're doing, like you can fight Max, fight Dragon, the Shield, is that it's gonna feel like the God of War Ascension, of the Doom series, right? It's gonna feel like something that despite the fact that the prequel seems interesting, it's also the game that nobody was really waiting for because of the way that they ended their relationship with Mick Gordon, and
Mm-hmm.
they just they slaughtered the goose with the golden eggs basically. Like they could have had something special. This could have been a magnum opus, and now it might just feel like a poor man's DLC, but it might feel like the Wolfenstein Youngblood,
Oh man,
of
don't
of
say
the
that.
yeah, yeah. Yeah.
Uh,
Which ironically did have the soundtrack of Mick Gordon, and I hope that I hope at least that he's not salty with the rest of ZeniMax, and that he still has a good relationship with Machine Games for the new Wolfenstein.
mhm.
Because yeah, that would suck as well if that soundtrack was going to miss his brilliant touch. So yeah, I
Mhm.
mean overall, yeah, like I said, a great showcase, great pacing. Interesting to see more of these games and finally getting release dates. Great surprise. But yeah, I mean, yeah, say Microsoft, keep it up. This is what we want as gamers. Um, and yeah, I mean, and like I said, like if it's not going to change my perspective on the Xbox. Like it's never going to be my main console purely because their strategy is not in that, like they're not giving you any incentive to do so because anything cool either has already been announced for PlayStation, or you can just expect that to happen. It might
Mhm.
even be self-fulfilling prophecy because any game that is not announced for PlayStation might get there because they see, oh yeah, these games are doing really well on PlayStation, so maybe we should just release them there because yeah, we don't really expect any sales because they're dropping these games on Game Pass day and date. So yeah,
Mm.
I mean, it is what it is. But yeah, I mean, looking good. So yeah, I'm quite content. Yeah, as a grade, like I say B. Yeah,
Okay.
it's
Yeah.
fair.
I'd ask
Yeah,
you
fair.
what you would rate it. Yeah. B. Yeah.
Yep. Yep.
Xbox did a great showing, strong showing.
Yep.
Omar, I know for you that they probably showed, I think every game they showed was probably something you wanted to play, right?
Yeah, this was a flat out 10 for me.
Okay.
I think it comes. So it's a few things. First off, the format. You know what you're getting into with a surprise at the beginning, not the end this time, and compact. No fluff. Yes, we had a few uh, talk from the developers, but it was all in good fun. The bloopers were entertaining. You will not, you didn't get your ear talked into for 30, 40 minutes and zero gameplay showing. No, this was gameplay first, developers banter second, and I'm all
Mhm.
for it. Um, they spent a lot of time on Ninja Gaiden 4, so it goes to show they're super passionate about this project. And they should be, like the last Ninja Gaiden was what? Either 3 or Ninja Gaiden Z, I think, which was with the zombie. I'm not sure if the different developer created that one, but that's when Ninja Gaiden ended back then. So to see us going to 4 and playing as a totally different character, yeah, I'm all for it. And the combat they showcased and everything like that, yeah, I'm absolutely all for it.
Are you going to
Um,
be playing Black soon?
Black, I'm too busy with other games. Black is
Okay.
a game because when I first understood it that it's Black One. If that was the case, that I've been on it day one. But because I already played two, I
Mhm.
don't think I'm gonna play Black Two right now. Like that's
Okay.
gonna be something on that's gonna be something I might play on what you call it. before on the release month of 4, so I can be
Gotcha.
up to date to the gameplay and stuff like that. Other than that, this might be my very first time I'm actually gonna finish Doom, because I played a little bit of Doom 2016 or 18, and it was fun, but I was never a Doom guy like that. But this new Doom is doing
So
so
me.
much. What?
Continue, continue.
This new Doom game is doing so much that it's actually sticking to me. It's not
Yeah, the,
just
the trailer was insane. Yeah.
it's not just shooting, like you're not just getting a gun and go fight some enemy. No, there's exploration, which I know the other game had, but this one's way more open, and the areas are so big. You actually felt like this could be an open world. I'm not. Other than that, the shield, your
Mm.
shield being able to throw it to come back to you like a boomerang, and the best part, parry. And not just parry, bullet parry. Like, what else can you wish for? Especially in a bullet hell game like that.
My boy
And
Doom guy over here decked out in the fur, you know. I love his character design.
and then having all these extra between the mecha suit, and then you have
The
um
dragon.
the dragon. This one, I don't know the story. I forgot the actual story about what happened with the music producer whatever, but it felt like they're doing that much to prevent others from thinking, okay, so they're doing. So to me, it felt like they're doing so much to distract from the controversy. That's what happened.
Yeah, I had that feeling too. Like oh
Because
yeah, look at
you
all this cool shit you can do now, and
Mhm.
yeah, don't think about the fact that the soundtrack will probably suck now.
because the gameplay, it's all fun and great, but the mecha and the dragon felt not per se out of place because I never played Doom to completion, so I don't know what happened. But it just felt like you're doing too much.
No, it doesn't feel out of place because the mechs were actually in previous games. You just couldn't control them.
Gotcha. And the dragon?
I don't think it was a dragon in the previous
Mm-hmm.
game, but like it doesn't matter. Like you literally beat Satan in the at the end of the last game. So
So, and then, what can I say about Sons of Midnight?
Mhm.
I need it right now. So, what do I love about that? I love how they're taking folklore, because that's what it is, folklore,
Mhm.
and adding their own twist to it, and they cover their bases. Don't come to them if this folklore is not true or is different from. Hey, speaking of the devil, Sons of Midnight, right here in front of us. Yeah, no. The story is interesting. I had zero idea what the story about because I would go in blind. But now that I know, I'm way more invested in it. Gameplay, abilities, all of that. Sign me on. It have parry. It it have not per se color type enemies, but like you need to press in certain enemies over others. Like it have boss battles, big big boss battles, and the best part, in my opinion, the three between the stop motion, because I love when games does their unique thing. Yes, you can turn it off, but would you be playing South of Minions if you turn it off? That's number one. Because I didn't turn it off with Into the Spider Verse. I enjoyed what I was watching, and I even tried the costume for Spider-Man 2 for Into the Spider Verse, which was entertaining. Other than that, it's the music. Like you can feel the
Oh
passion through
man,
the music.
and the music was great, especially during the boss fights. Really, the chorus picked up. It was really good.
And I'm not even a USA guy, so it's not like the music is in my culture whatsoever. And the best part for me is the voice acting, because you hear they're from the South, you hear from their accent, and I love games when they do their developers do their research, stuff like that, and and this genuine feels a lot better from the South, and I can't wait to experience it. All by all, oh, and the stealth release for Ninja Gaiden Black 2, um, it feels like every year they're gonna do a stealth release, which I'm all for it, and I'm super excited to see um what my other games Microsoft have in petto, and it's gonna have a big stage. Otherwise, on my PC it is. But
Oh,
yeah,
button bad, Omar.
Yeah,
sorry,
you're botting.
am I watching?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, let me go out
Okay, you
and
sound
come
a little bit
back.
better now. Oh, well, never mind.
I'm back. Can you hear me?
Okay. Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, you sound better.
Okay. But yeah, no. Other than that, I am so Xbox started strong. Let's see where PlayStation goes with it when they do their own showcase. Take note. That's how you do it. Don't bring in flops. Don't smaller titles. I understand that. Oh, I forgot to mention fucking Activision 33.
Yeah.
Like, excuse you me. First off, I love how you're breaking the 9,000 mold damage
Hmm.
with going to up to 2400, I think. I think 1200, but I don't recall 2400. Others say 2400. So that's one. Number two is that um, the map, how you master traversal. That's so funny. It reminds me of one villain in Kingdom Hearts, I think two. It's a boogeyman from, I forgot which
Oh yeah, the
game.
boogeyman from
Yeah,
the Nightmare Before Christmas.
yeah.
Yeah.
I never seen the. I'm not sure if I seen one movie, but okay. Um, yeah, like such a unique way for transportation, and I'm all ear for it. And that character, and I love how, despite how dark, because this game is dark, this is basically a love letter to me. Because if you go back watch me talking on Vitamin G podcast, I always ask, I wish we get a hardcore, dark, gritty JRPG turn based. And we got that with a different game, I forgot which one. And we're getting it now with Expedition 33. And I'm all here for it.
Hmm.
Between the only thing I'm curious about more the most now is if the UI is it gonna be way more stylish than Persona. Other than
No,
that,
I doubt it.
because the what you call it, the skills feels way more stylish, and also just your next turn feels way more stylish. The way the camera moves, the way uh, the screen moves. And what I love is, despite all the darkness in the game, there is a lot of humor in it. Between I think the main character, that's funny and entertaining. Between jokes being made in the game, yeah, no, this is like this year gonna be crazy, gameplay game wise, and we just started. The only thing that I'm not a fan of is it's both games in April. Acquisition 33 and Stars of Midnight. So it's gonna be interesting to see if gonna finish one before starting the other. But yeah, no, 10 out of 10 show. Would absolutely recommend to watch it.
Yeah. Xbox has a pretty packed first 6 months,
Yeah,
Avowed next month in February, and then
no,
I don't think they have anything in March, but April with uh South of Midnight and then Expedition 33, and then Doom right after. So it's like pretty packed. And then they're gonna have, I'm supposing they'll have their summer showcase in June, which they'll probably show like the later half. I think that's where people are suspecting we'll get the Fable announcement if it is supposed to come out this year. It'll be interesting. So yeah, Xbox is looks like they're finally sticking to that promise of, a game a quarter now. Now that they've
I
got
mean,
everything in gear.
they're what? 33 studio or
Oh
more?
yeah. Oh yeah.
They are becoming, if not have became, the biggest third party,
Oh yeah.
third party publisher. I think I'm not sure
Yeah.
which bigger, but when you release games that are a dud, you're gonna be diminished. But when you are releasing games like Start of Midnight, which eventually it could fail, but I don't see it failing. And like Avowed, I'm not sure what Avowed's gonna be. Indie, they released it, was great, amazing event for people. Uh, we know Doom is gonna hit,
Hmm.
and South of Midnight, we know it's gonna hit. Ninja Gaiden 4, we know gonna hit. Like when you have that much bangers, hey, congratulations on them becoming third party. That it, it seems to be that suits them the most role wise.
Yeah. Yeah. Good job, Xbox, on the cadence. Like you said, that the roll the was it the rose wall is coming down in the garden. So yeah, like we pointed out, they put PS5 in the direct, which is not really what I thought they would do. That when it comes to each publisher showcase, they usually stick to saying that particular publisher's platform, right? So if like a state of play, it'll say PS5, even if it's a third party game, right? They'll only say PS5. It's usually beforehand on an Xbox Direct or Xbox Showcase, they would just stick to saying Xbox, even if it was third party. But I
Oh
think,
yeah,
Xbox is now just, relegated, and they're just uh they're more accepting to the fact that we're going to become more of a third party publisher now, so let's just say it's coming to PS5. Like the first game, we Ninja Gaiden PS5.
yeah.
It was
I suppose.
surprising, but not at the same time.
Actually, it is surprising because the first time they did it was with India in the PlayStation 5 reveal. I'm like, okay, cool. That was at Jeff Keighley's showcase. But this one is way different because this is literally at Xbox on showcase. This is
Yeah.
not Bethesda. This is not uh, any other publisher. No, this is literally Microsoft. Xbox. So to
Hmm.
have that PlayStation 5 logo, like that, in my opinion, that's literally them showing people, okay, we're third party now. There is
Yeah.
no but. If you combine that with Phil Spencer now own interview with
Oh yeah.
Paris, it's over. Like there is no red line. There was never a red line the second he said that. It's just over.
Yeah. I mean, the moment that they said the 4 games was coming, I mean, people said it wasn't just going to be 4. Some people believed that, some people didn't, and now we know the truth. Like, it's just going to be, I think it's just a matter of time. Like, when it comes to games like South of Midnight, or any other kind of game that is Xbox exclusive, or the ecosystem exclusive, I should say, I think that's more of a resource thing, and not a they just didn't want it to come to PlayStation. I think, it's a smaller Compulsion Studios is a smaller studio. I don't think they probably had the entire release on time as Xbox and PC. I don't think it was a decision like, we just don't want this on PS5. I just think it's just a resource thing, and it'll probably come down the line. And no, it's not me begging. I'm gonna be playing South of Midnight day one via Game Pass. Like I don't need it to come to PlayStation. This is just what I think is happening. I just think that it's more of a we just don't have the time or the resources to release this particular game on all platforms. So for right now, it's going to be Xbox and PC, and then later down the line, it's going to be PS5. I think that's just kind of the course they're taking with their games. It
So
is what
let's
it is.
make it this then. Do you
Uh-huh.
think they're gonna go what PlayStation did, which is the next route, buy a studio or two, just strictly gonna focus on PlayStation 4? Because if
I
you,
don't think so.
because if you wanna become the biggest third party, you gotta you can't leave PlayStation 5 out.
Yeah. I mean, because they're going to be developing for not just the PS5 but also the Switch too, right?
Yeah,
And maybe to be able to develop for obviously all these platforms, right? You're going to need more people, so I'm sure they're going to be hiring. But as far as like hiring more specifically for PS5, I don't know. It could be, especially like I said, maybe the next gen. That's what they're going to be focused on. I could see next gen being everything is released everywhere, like it's official kind of thing, right? Where everything's day and date on all platforms. No longer any kind of exclusive box. But for this gen, I don't know. I'm sure they're still reading the numbers. They're still looking at it, seeing how much money they're making off of PlayStation, and then soon how much money they'll be making off of Switch too. And I'm sure that'll all factor into their decision whether or not to expand. We see from the 4 games that was enough. Apparently, the data was looking good for them to continue to put more games on PlayStation. So we'll have to see further how these numbers affect that decision. I don't see them reverting back to exclusives really ever again. I think the money is too good for Microsoft to pass up for the suits at least. Um, and I think that this will continue to be a pattern that eventually it will lead to day and date everywhere on all platforms. I can't say when that will be. I like I said, I see it for the next generation, but that's just me speculating. I don't
do
know
you
nothing.
think we're gonna get a new Xbox?
I mean, Phil has reiterated multiple times that they are. So, that they're working on the next gen hardware. So I do believe that we're going to have whatever the next Xbox is going to be, whether it's this PC hybrid or handheld or whatever people are speculating. I think they're gonna get that. But beyond that, like the generation after this coming up one, I don't know. Um, if they do what people are speculating, where they outsource their manufacturing to other people, like other companies, maybe like Samsung or whoever make Xbox consoles for them instead of actual Microsoft producing them. It's like third party Xboxes. Like a Samsung makes an Xbox, Lenovo makes an Xbox. Uh, you know, I don't know, whoever can make an Xbox, right? Maybe that will be the new Xbox hardware strategy. But as far as Xbox themselves making it after this generation, if because the sales decline is going down, right? We've seen the numbers go down for Xbox hardware.
Oh yeah, what they
You
sold
know,
2 mil last
yeah,
year or something like
this
that.
is
Like,
they've only sold 2 million in the US, and that's the lowest they've ever sold. And the US is their home territory where they usually do the best, right? And so they're doing the worst they've ever done in the place that they usually sell the best. So that doesn't really bode well. So, like I said, I'm sure there's going to be one more generation because they've been confirming it every time they have an interview that they're going to have one more generation. Not just one more, but they're going to have the next generation of hardware. There's still another console coming out, but after that, if the numbers are even worse than this generation, I just don't see what the benefit for Xbox would be to continue making hardware on at least they themselves like making hardware. I really don't see it. Um, yeah, because it's going up for PlayStation. PlayStation is doing better than they ever have,
yeah,
regardless
because
of anything.
PlayStation is have been not per se lackluster, but rather slow with
Yeah.
their first party output. But
Hmm.
they're demolishing Xbox without even trying.
Yeah. I mean, they're currently selling. They're already PlayStation 5 is selling better than PS4 was at the current time, right? PS4 had, I think, 62 million at this point in their lifespan, and now PlayStation has like 65. So they're ahead of PS4, right? The question is, can they keep that momentum up? And I think they will with the last couple. That's when PlayStation usually hits their stride, is in the last quarter of the generation. They're gonna have Intergalactic, they're gonna have Wolverine, they're gonna have whatever Corey's secret game is, So I think they're gonna have some heavy hitters to come out for the end, and obviously GTA 6 is gonna be a big thing for them. That's gonna be the game that gets all the people that are holding out, that are still on PS4 and Xbox One, to switch up to next gen. And I think, especially if PlayStation gets that marketing, they're going to be the de facto console that people are going to upgrade to play GTA 6, right? So
Oh yeah, I
that
mean
yeah,
the Pro, eh?
and then you got the Pro on top of that, which will be, especially if it comes out this year, right? It'll be the best place to play GTA 6, right? Obviously, we don't know if it's going to have a 60 FPS patch or anything like that, but still, it'll still be the best place because it'll have higher quality, you know, higher shadow detail, lighting, whatever, right? So it'll be the best place to play. So that'll secure. I think PlayStation sales will go up astronomically whenever GTA 6 comes out, and hopefully they can keep up that cadence. But I don't see any trouble with PlayStation hardware. They're definitely going to have a PS6 regardless of what people say. They're going to continue. Their hardware is doing better than ever. But yeah, I mean, Xbox seems to have switched its strategy. And speaking of GTA 6, though, the next topic is one of the
Good
analysts.
segue.
I know, right? One of the analysts who decided that, or has predicted that GTA 6 will be $100. Um, and that this is something that the industry themselves are hoping for, so that other publishers can start charging $100 for video games. When it comes to
Mm-hmm.
these analysts, I always laugh at their takes. I mean, analysts every year, and every generation, they come up with the most outrageous takes. I think every generation we've seen an analyst say, this is the last generation for consoles. They said that during the PS3, they said that during the PS4, and now they're saying that through the PS5, right? And a lot of these analysts are not actually video game analysts, right? They are just like financial analysts that are just kind of reading numbers, but don't really know this particular sector, right? They don't really understand gaming. And so they kind of just project whatever they're good at, what the finances, and project that onto the video game industry, and it just doesn't work like that. So what it is this analyst named Matthew Ball has basically mentioned that GTA 6 will launch at $100. He says, and I quote, there is hope among some in the market that Take-Two will price GTA 6 at $80 or even $100, which could prove to be a turning point for the video game industry. This could break a key barrier and allow other developers to raise prices as well, he said. Um, uh, okay, Weeb, I'm gonna go to you first. What do you think about Mr. Ball's opinion on GTA 6 launching at 100 and the industry's hope that they will do that?
Uh, well, I sure got some balls.
Matthew Ball has some balls.
I mean, it like you said, the same old bullshit they keep spouting every so often. It's just one of those analysts who's trying to get some attention, maybe manipulate some stock prices because we
Mm,
know that they're gonna do that. But it's fucking bullshit. Like, first of all, like, we already have games that are $100. With the the
exactly.
early access bullshit, all that kind of thing. So it's not like they're not already doing that. But he's
Hmm.
talking about, like, full price for the bare bones version of the game. Yeah, that's not gonna happen. And it's fucking ridiculous even. Like why would they do that? Like, yes, I say I understand saying that
Have you
GTA.
met companies? Hold up. Why would they do that? Have you met companies? If they
Um
know
eh,
they can.
Omar, if you let me finish, I will explain it to you.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay. GTA, yes, GTA is the biggest, biggest titles come out this year. It's huge. So if there's
Mhm.
any IP that any company, Rockstar, that could do it, yeah, they could get away with it. But they're not gonna do it because it's not like they're dependent on just a sale, like the day one sales of that game. They know that that game is gonna have legs, just like Five had because of GTA Online.
Oh yeah.
People bought that game just to get the V Bucks or whatever they're called for
Mhm.
GTA.
Do we
Uh,
know
I,
if this one gonna have online mode?
Oh,
Six?
it definitely will. It definitely will.
I,
That's too much of a
that-
moneymaker for it to not have it.
I mean, it would be crazy if they didn't. So
You know,
so
it's
yeah,
it might not be day one because Red Dead 2 didn't launch with their online day one, but it will definitely be there eventually. You can guarantee that.
yeah, absolutely. So that's why you don't even need to. This is sort of like feels like as if they were desperate to make that day one money that they're not. And the thing is, we're always saying like things are not always equal. Like they're throwing around inflation. That's
Mhm.
so much that's such a bullshit argument because yes, and inflation is high and the development cost has increased and blah 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 and I'm sure if that was the same guy, but there was one guy way back who said like, yeah, the value per the dollar per hour value, shit like that, like as if that all matters. Like that. It doesn't mean that a game that you can spend 100 hours on uh, has more value than a game that you spend 10 hours on. It depends on how good the game is, and if that's
Mhm.
ever an argument, then that all the shooter games should be half price by now because their campaigns are like half the time they used to be. Like that's
Yeah.
what such a bullshit argument. And plus the fact that like the games yeah, the typical Ubisoft games, like we know those games, like they're massive, but a lot of the content is sort of copy paste content, and they're
Mhm.
designed to basically keep you busy, and they didn't like they did with the latest Assassin's Creed games, when they sort of threw into the RPG formula where they were selling you like XP boost bullshit because yeah, they have basically level capped enemies and stuff like that. So they basically were trying to incentivize you to buy microtransactions. That's
Mhm.
that's the business model.
Yep.
And yeah,
You see
and
they
that
roll back on that too. They stopped doing that
yep,
shit real quick.
yep, yep.
Mhm.
That's the thing. It's like these companies, they want to have their cake and fuck it too. That's their entire thing. Like, yeah, they want whether charge you $100 and then also charge you microtransactions and Carvo DLC and have you pay for online and all that bullshit. Like, yeah, I mean, it's such a bullshit argument. Plus the fact that inflation, if you want to use that as an argument, yeah, but you do understand that inflation is across the board. Like, it's not just affecting, game companies or the cost of development. It's affecting everything. And if you have to choose, because we all know that, like, it's not like our wages suddenly increased,
Mhm.
or double. We could double our wages because of inflation. No, you're lucky if you got a little extra because mostly, basically you're spending more of your income on basic necessities. And if you have to
Yep.
make a choice between something, like I don't know, food, or
It's a little
or
bit important, you know.
yeah, or
Tiny bit.
gaming. I mean, yeah, I mean, some people might make the choice between food and gaming for gaming, but I think most people would choose the basic necessities, right?
Yeah.
And that's gonna think so. Yeah, then people will buy less games, and is that better for the industry? I mean, if you're one of those games that like if you're GTA and if you're Call of Duty, yeah, maybe because people will buy your games, but anything else, like the risk is going to be incredibly
Mhm.
exacerbated because, we've seen games like I think that might be the topic as well that some games fail to meet their sales expectations. Like, yeah, you're going to see that more and more because people are going to think twice to buy a game. Because if it's like $100 or €100 or whatever the currency is in the country. Like
Yeah, it's over €100
Mm-hmm.
for us.
for
But
us,
we
yeah,
already now paying 80, while
yeah,
they're
yeah,
paying 70.
yeah. For us, it would be even more. Yeah, like and they're assuming that price. Like this is sort of a complete failure of understanding basic economics because like they're assuming that games are priced in elastic, right? Because certain goods, certain goods, it doesn't matter how much you charge for them because people will buy them. Like I know, like in America, insulin, for example. Like yeah, that's that's the thing you guys have. We fortunately have affordable prices for life-saving medication. But yeah, I mean, if
Mm-hmm.
that's if you didn't have that, you know, yeah, that price is like you don't really have a choice there. You're gonna pay whatever it costs because you want to stay alive. But a certain like a luxury good, like you're not gonna pay whatever it costs. There's going to be a certain point where you say, yeah, it's too expensive, and yes, it's going to be a point where the more you increase the price, like if you increase it to a certain point, the people will stop. Enough people will stop buying it
Yep.
that you will lose money. And of course it will have a certain especially if you're like with GTA, like you're basically banking on GTA Online. Yeah, if enough people don't buy your game, yeah, you won't have enough players to keep your online game going, right? So
Mm-hmm.
certainly you want to have as many people as possible playing a game. So it would be absolutely stupid, I think, for them to. I mean, they might have a $100 edition or whatever, but not like the base game because you
Right.
do want as many people as possible into that game. Whether you launch with GTA Online or whether you put in later, they know what they're doing. I mean, they've seen this with GTA 5. Like they don't need to do this. And the entire argument like the cost of gaming development increased, like yeah, whose fault is that? Like nobody was asking them to make like AAA games with photorealistic graphics and spending more and more money on it. Like they created their demand for that, like they
Yeah.
created Frankenstein's monster,
Okay,
yeah.
so
And
you think it's a nothing? I think you think it's a nothing burger?
of course, there's a nothing burger because this motherfucker is talking out of his ass. Like even his fellow analysts are telling him, like, dude, you do know, they're already charging $100 for the early access and that kind of thing. Like, so
Mm-hmm.
you don't know what you're talking about. Like, it's not gonna happen. And it's also very excessive, like jumping from 70,
70 to
80 for us
100.
to
$30
100.
jump. Crazy.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
but
As if that would happen.
Yeah.
The people wouldn't notice. That
We
it's
saw
fucking bullshit.
the people's reaction to a $10 increase from last year, right? From 60 to 70, people were flipping out. Can you imagine the reaction that would happen from 70
Mhm.
to $100? Listen,
I,
I agree with Weeb absolutely because there is a cap to how much you can charge somebody, right? And I hear what you're
mhm.
saying, Omar. Publishers would absolutely love to charge us the highest amount possible, but they are realistic into the fact what Weeb said there is a cap for which there is a point of no return. You're not going to get that return on investment. You charge this much, sure, you're going to get some people to buy it, but you're going to get less people to buy it. So it's not even going to get to the amount. You're going to end up either at the same amount or less than what you would have if you charged at 70. You're just going to piss people off. That's all you're going to do. GTA 6
okay,
is
so
probably that one game that you could get people to pay $100, but to the fact that the industry thinks that everybody, if GTA did that, that everybody could just jump on the $100 bandwagon is absolutely insane. People are going to look at you and like, you are not GTA 6. You are this other game.
Mhm.
Sure, you're AAA, but you're nowhere near the quality that Rockstar is giving me. If you think you're going to charge me $100 for a game, you're out your mind. And the sales are like it's going to be like what we said when it was with Dragon Age. Just we're going to see tons and tons of reports and tweets reporting low sales, missed expectations. Gamers are pissed. The publishers are upset because they're not meeting sales quotas. Developers and studios going under because they can't get the people to buy. Like absolutely not. Stick to you can have your little $100 edition, like we've said with like the bucks and the early access and the skins and DLC pack included or whatever. But to have that as a base, but what's your opinion, Omar?
Eh, look, I used to think, what you call it, nothing burger, move on. Why are we even covering this?
Hmm.
But I gotta say, where there is smoke, there is fire. And yes, this is not a smoke because it's from an analyst, but at least it's not from Michael Patcher. I'm gonna say that, but real talk though. Uh, I'm being genuine. If there is one game that could get away with this, it's GTA 6. Whether the industry embrace $100 afterward, or I would genuinely then not be surprised if GTA 6 becomes the start of a price hike. It's it uh, 80, no, from 70, 80. Like, the publishers are always on the fuck shit. And they're gonna justify it. Developer cost, which we know they don't do anything about it. And it always goes to the CEO. Um, you want the best game? Pay us the best money. And at the end of the day, what is gaming? A luxury. Yes, Game Pass exists, the PlayStation Plus exists, and all that jazz. But at the end of the day, it is still a luxury thing to do. So it's not a necessity. So I
While
don't.
I
Yeah,
I agree with that, but it's also a necessity for their business to thrive, right? Like if the people who are in charge and the people who have to answer to the stockholders, like I said, yes, they would love in a perfect world to charge us 100, $200 for these video games, right? That cost them multiple hundreds of millions sometimes, right? But they are realistic in the fact that there is a number out there, right? A number, a price that people will just not pay. And so you trying to put this price, not you, but like, as far as
I
the
got
the
you.
industry trying to put this price on a game would not be wise because you are going to infuriate your consumer base and cause a reaction that's not going to lead to sales. Okay. It's going to cause a chain reaction that's just going to make the video game industry probably plummet after that because most people are just going to wait for a sale. Nobody's going to be spending. The majority of gamers it will shift the industry to the point where a lot of gamers will start moving to the free to play realm, right? And we're going to see more and more live service games pop up because, hey, that's what people are going to because they don't want to pay $100 for games. And then it's just going to shift to a even more prone live service industry because they, instead of paying $100 for this game, they just rather go over here to Rocket League or Fortnite or Marvel Rivals because I'm
Exactly.
not spending
Yeah.
$100 on these fucking. They got their mind, and that's just what's going to happen. And game and studios and publishers like Sony and Microsoft and Ubisoft who don't really have that many free to play games like that, they're going to fail if they think they can start selling their games at $100 and people aren't going to shift.
In,
Like,
yeah.
go ahead, Lee.
In a time where kids associate gaming with Fortnite, you really want to
Exactly.
do this? And plus, with like we see now, like Game Pass is sort of, it is not what they hoped it was going to be. But if you're going to do shit like that, that's going to be, that's going to fuel people to just consider streaming services
Mm-hmm.
and gaming services as alternatives. Because yeah, I mean, even if it's not gonna have the games they want to have, they're gonna see that as more of a value proposition because they're not gonna spend $100 for a game. You
Okay, but real talk though.
you're basically fostering your own doom, basically.
Real $100 games already exist, and
Yes,
people
but you
are.
don't need that to get to play the game. That's an extra
Yeah.
incentive for the base game. You
Yeah,
can
yeah, I
still
get you.
enjoy it. But go ahead.
But people go out of their way to buy that edition. Not
Sure.
only that, and most of the time, what you're getting is not even worth it.
Sure,
Yeah,
but that's
but
that's
that,
to
that's
the discretion of every
yeah,
player. They don't have to buy that edition,
yeah.
right?
Plus that's like a small minority. Like not the most people will buy the basic bitch version of the game. Basically,
Yeah.
they're not going to spend $100 for. And like you said, mostly it's not worth it. But if you want to, you can buy. Like yes, I've done it myself. I know Nate has done that. I think Morgan has
Mhm.
done it as well. Like
Yeah.
yeah, if you really want a
Mind you,
game and
I'm not judging the one that does it.
no
It's
no no no, but I understand what you're saying. But the thing is, I don't agree that that's sort of an indication that people would just do it, or like the majority of the people would do that if you just raise the price to $100, and that's not going to happen. Like most people are very price conscious, and I like even now still, you have a lot of people who don't even buy their games new; they buy them second hand. They go to a
Mhm.
GameStop or whatever, and
that's
and
me.
buy. Yeah, exactly. So you can see that people are very price conscious. Like you think that's still gonna fly if the game costs $100 because that obviously that price at the GameStop or whatever is gonna increase as well to accommodate
Mhm.
that. So yeah. I mean, I don't know the guy. I mean, I think probably anybody can call themselves a game industry analyst because just like anybody can call themselves a game journalist, you don't have to have a degree or anything. You just have to either play games and pretend that you have some in-depth knowledge of it, or you're maybe just full of shit. You're just trying to you call yourself an analyst and yeah, I'm gonna talk about gaming now because I can do that. And like
Mhm.
the fact that they don't even agree on that, like in general, it just shows you that this is basically somebody is a
Look,
thought, oh yeah, this is a great time to throw that bullshit argument again in there.
okay, so
And
let me ask you this:
Yeah.
mhm,
if it does become $100, then what?
mhm,
Do you
The
think the
industry?
people? I'm talking about GTA. If
Okay.
GTA
yeah,
is released at $100, do you think
Yeah.
it's gonna sell or no?
Oh, it's absolutely going to sell. But
yeah,
GTA is a unicorn. Okay, not we're not going to pretend like GTA is just some regular AAA game like it's just another Assassin's Creed or whatever. This is GTA 6. GTA is the IP whether you like it or not that moves the needle, and Rockstar is that developer that kind of moves everybody to the next gen. That's just it's the game. I mean, it was the most liked a video on Twitter when they dropped the first trailer for GTA 6. Like GTA is a worldwide phenomenon. It's the game that non-gamers know about, right? It's the game that non-gamers who don't game, they finally get a console to play, right? It's that game. So GTA 6 charging $100 is different than another developer trying to charge $100. Yes, would people flock to it still? Absolutely, because they've waited 13 years for the next GTA, right? The first GTA or GTA
mhm,
5 came out in PS3, right? We're finally getting another GTA on PS5, right? 2 generations later. So absolutely, people will flock to that regardless. Don't be pissed, like,
mhm.
damn, it's $100. Fuck, but they're still gonna pay it because I would.
but
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 every
but
other developer, fuck no.
Yeah. But yeah, plus, if you were a rock star, or Take Two, whatever the size and price, like, would you really risk that? You have a sure thing. Is it gonna sell like gangbusters, and you
Mhm.
have either at launch or you're gonna release it later online. It's gonna make you a shit ton of
Exactly.
money. Are you
Exactly.
gonna are you really gonna just maybe to get a few extra bucks at the launch, which depends
Th-
on how it plays
that's a
out.
great
If
point.
if there's a drop and people just can't afford the game, at
Mhm.
$100, yeah, are you
That's a
really
great
gonna?
point, Lee.
Yeah, I mean, it's like I say, like you would charge $100 if you spend a lot of money on the game and you're not sure the game is going to sell well,
Mhm.
and then you think, okay, I know I'm basically going to bank on the day one sales, so I want to get that margin as high as possible. Like I know there's not going to be any residuals, whatever. We don't have any plans for DLC or microtransactions or multiplayer, so that's sort of a strategy you would expect there. But doing this, with something that is going to be successful. You want to get as many people as possible to get the game day one, so you have them
Yeah.
bought in when you launch online. Like, it doesn't make any sense to me. Like, I mean, like I said, like, if they could try it, but I think it's incredibly risky. I mean, like it's a gamble. Like
Hmm.
you could potentially also lose everything, in the sense that it could blow up in your face, where there might be a drop off significant enough where people will just like, okay, yeah, this is not worth it to me. This is not, like, you already have no this people are upset because you play as a female protagonist, right? Don't give them any more ammunition. Like,
Hmm.
you don't want to do that. Like, so I'm not seeing them doing that, but like you said, even if they did, yeah, it's not like anybody else can do that. Like, you can't follow suit. Like, if people are kind of try to do that, they're gonna fail. Like, we're gonna see more games failing because people literally are not gonna buy them.
Right. We see so many people failing at 70, right? We
Yeah,
consistently see studios and publishers tweeting or articles that they fail at sales expectations. Do you think it's going to get better at $100?
yeah. I
Absolutely
mean,
not. It's going to get
mean, ta-
worse.
take Concord. I know we're not supposed
Oh
to say
man,
the name anymore,
it's
but I
a big
mean,
word.
yeah, yeah. Aside from probably a lot of other reasons that the game wasn't just interesting enough, but they're probably nailed the thing that really did did yeah, it was basically the nail in the coffin, was the fact that it was a full price game, that they went
Yeah.
for that strategy. And yeah, it didn't get a chance. It had no chance at all. Like, people were basically very conscious of that price. So what do you think is going to happen if you charge $100? Basically, if across the board for any game, even if the game is poor quality, is short, is people are going to use whatever argument they can get to justify not paying the price, and they're gonna I don't know, buy, yeah, secondhand. That's still going to be expensive, but go for a subscription service, or wait for a deep sale, or just
Hmm.
like I said, go for the free to play shit that basically doesn't cost them any extra money once they're bought into it. So yeah, it is crazy to suggest such a thing, as if it's that feasible, it's that easy to do so.
Yeah.
I like, and plus, the indie market as well, right? Like, back in the day, you didn't have like a flourishing indie market. Like, they were just like, even like, if you go back for far enough, what's called indie game was basically just a AAA game at that point in
Hmm.
time. Like, how the hell do you think that's going to work out? It could be very beneficial for the indie games, because they're like, yeah, I mean, we're not going to sell you $100 game, so you know, and you can have a fun experience. Like, yeah, that would be it would be absolutely fantastic for those for those developers. But like, you're basically just setting yourself up to fail, because then your sales expectations are not going to be met. Plus, you're still spending a shit ton of money on those games, which again is not really necessary. Like, it's a for some games like Call of Duty, like, they've dug their own hole, because if they're now gonna release a double A, Call of Duty, yeah, people are gonna say, yeah, what the fuck is this? Like, this is not Call of Duty, right? But that
Yeah.
they made their bet. That's what they did to themselves. Like, nobody was asking for it, but once you give it to people, of course they're gonna expect you to
Yep.
give it to them. Otherwise, they're gonna riot. But like, you don't like. I see a lot of these games where they say, I spent $100 million, hundreds of millions of dollars in the game, and like, but why? I mean, you could have made you could have spent half or even less of that. You could have made a great game. Like, there's so much stuff in there, and like, this, especially, like, we talked about Square Enix. Like, I mean, I think like Rebirth was a fine game, but there was so much stuff in there. Like, they had like mini games with game mechanics that were
Yeah,
only
and
used like one side mission, for example. Like, that will cost a lot of money, a lot of development hours, just to create that mechanic, that side mission. And for what? Yeah, it is basically sort of indulgence, self-indulgence of the developers. Like, yeah, we're somebody should have told them, like, yeah, maybe we shouldn't do this, because maybe, if you don't do this, it will. we don't won't have to spend 200 million or whatever. Probably not as much as a Japanese game, but still, you know, on the game, and we could have done it for half the development cost, and then also you wouldn't be so disappointed with the sales because we don't need to make that many sales, which is another thing that they're completely overlooking. Like if a game made like a couple of million, these days if it's a AAA game is a failure. But if it did that, back in the day, like it would have been a huge
Smash
commercial
hit.
success. Yeah,
Hmm.
exactly. Like the market has also changed massively. That there are more gamers than ever. And yeah, you can argue that that there's a limit, that there's an upper limit, that like the market can't outgrow itself. Like you can't artificially increase the number of gamers because we have a limit on our population, and there's a limit on the amount of people who can play and want to play games. But that doesn't mean that you're you're basically stuck with like yeah growth, lack of growth, which is of course obviously a problem. Like we shouldn't expect infinite growth, but like that's your problem. Like if you keep increasing your development costs, and there's a limit to the amount of people who can buy your games, and there's a limit to what they're going to spend to it. Like yeah, maybe don't spend so much on the game development. Like I actually loved like AAA experience, like I see with Sony should just keep doing what they're doing, but they have the luxury that they're selling a console where they don't necessarily
Hmm.
have to make the same return on investment that other, like of course they need to make at least break even and probably make a profit to reinvest that money, but they don't need to have the same return on investment like GTA has, because obviously they have to get a very high return on investment since it's GTA. But even then, like any third party, has to have a higher, like the easy, I think like 3 times or something is it's generally the general rule, return on investment to be profitable. The same with movies. Like movies also didn't cost as much as, like nowadays a blockbuster movie costs like $200-300 million to make. Like they didn't used to cost that much, but they also didn't make that much money. Like if it sold a million tickets, it suddenly was a smash hit. Like the times have changed, and like yeah, you will obviously, if you have the potential of making more revenue, more profit, yeah, correspondingly you will spend more money, invest more money to it to make it work. So that's part of the investment game. That's part of the strategy. Like you're going to do it because you can potentially make enough money to recoup those costs and then some. So you're not going to do it if it wasn't worth the investment. And if you are, yeah, then you're in the wrong business. Then you shouldn't be making games that cost $100 million if you don't
Yeah.
don't know or don't have any reasonable expectation that you will make a profit. So it is that simple. Yeah.
GTA 6, you made me think about something when you were talking about them unlikely being $100. Like when you think about it, with GTA 5, right? The one of the things that many people wanted with GTA 5 was more story DLC, right? We wanted expansion on the
Hmm.
story. Same thing with Red Dead 2. We wanted story DLC. But Rockstar, the only thing they ever focused on was expanding the online. Okay. This is why I
Hmm.
agree with Weeb that it would make no sense for them to increase the price of the base game from $70 to $100, because what they want is people to come in, and yes, they care about making a great single player experience, but what they actually sell, what makes them the money, is not the sale of the game, right? It's the amount of money people spend on shark bucks in GTA, right?
Hmm.
People spend an astronomical amount of money on GTA's online credit, which is shark bucks, right? On GTA Online, it's crazy. That is their bread and butter, which is why they're always adding expansions, adding new car packs, adding new heist missions, adding this and that, right? All the tweets from Rockstar, 99% of them are about new expansions and new additions to GTA Online, because that's where they make all their money, right? Which is why they refuse to give us any kind of single player DLC for these games. So them increasing the price to $100 would do nothing for them. Yes, it would make them a little bit more money, but the money that they really care about is what we spend. The shark bucks is what we spend online. So that's why I don't think like what we say, it really wouldn't make sense to do to increase the price to $100 because they don't need to, because the money they make is on through the online service. They don't need to increase the price of the base game, right? They make it on the back end, and that's where they're going to get the majority of their money from. So yes, we all agree that GTA 6 could get away with $100, but I think even if they did, I do not see other publishers doing that because they realize that they can barely sell their games at 70. There is absolutely no reason for them to increase the price and then increasingly piss off your consumer base to the point where they're not buying your games. It just would not be a good investment on like a return on investment at all. It would just lead to poor sales figures, more people getting laid off, more studios being closed, and like I said, more people leaning more towards a live service games, right? Leaning more towards free to play games because they just do not care to spend $100 for a single player experience, especially if it's like 15 to 20 hours. They're going to be like, I don't feel like that's worth $100. It may be a great game, but I'm maybe only going to play it once, and I'm never going to play it again. So that's not worth $100 to me. And so people will just lean more, and we're going to get more live service crap, and it's just going to be an industry that I really don't want to be a part of at that point.
And, another thing that while you were talking, I thought about is but because Rockstar is part of 2K, 2K as other IPs like NBA 2K, like if they're gonna sell GTA at $100, they're gonna have to sell all their other games at $100 too.
Holy shit! Yeah.
And if they don't, their investors, their shareholders will say, why aren't you selling at $100? We want you to sell at $100 because you did the same with GTA, and see, it was a success. So yeah, but yeah, we can't do that because that's GTA. That's a special case. Like if we do with other games, they're gonna flop. Like no, you're gonna do that, and they're gonna do that, and then those games sales expectations are gonna disappoint, and then
Yep.
they're
And
so
the
you go
2K now, it's not even
yeah.
worth 70. So
Yeah,
yeah, definitely not
exactly.
selling it to 100.
So you're kind of gonna sabotage yourself if you're gonna do that because you're gonna set that expectation. The same is with like okay, look, 2K. It doesn't matter to 2K if EA or whatever is going to be screwed because their shareholder is going to demand the same thing. But yeah, you're going to screw yourself over if you have other franchises that are not where you're not that sure that they're going to keep buying your game if you raise the price to $100 because you're going to have to because you can't just have only GTA at $100 because your investors are gonna basically have your head if you're not gonna do it. So you're gonna lose either way. So at least if I was a CEO of 2K, we're like, yeah, I'm not even gonna touch that because I'm screwed either way because like Omar always like to say, you're damned if you do and damned if you don't. So
Mm-hmm.
don't do it.
Yeah. Even Matthew Ball, the analyst that said this, he even tweeted on Twitter. I don't think they'll do $100 though. Some have reported as such. I'd bet they stay $70 base, and if not, then $80. What I said is many in the market hope for $80, if not 99. I'm like, okay, bro, listen. Don't try to say people are misconstruing what you said. You said what you
Yeah,
said,
now he's
and it's fine.
backtracking. That
Yeah, and
that
it's and
instruction.
the reason he's backtracking is because people are hitting him with facts that his idea is stupid. Okay, it's not going to happen. It makes no sense, especially in an industry where games are just, or at least they're portraying as such, that they're not selling. Right? We get news every week that another game didn't meet sales expectations. We get news that another studio has closed, or we get news that another publisher has done like a massive layoff. Right? It just makes no sense to in an industry where that's happening to further increase the price, right? What you need to what needs to happen, if for the industry, is to, like what we were saying, reducing the price of publishing these games, right? You need to look internally, and instead of spending $200 million on a game, find out a way where you can do it in 100 million or 50. Like, it's about reducing costs internally, not okay, we're gonna raise prices externally. Now we're gonna put the cost on the player, because that just doesn't work. All right, especially in an industry where people are, juggling, and they're like, I don't know if I want to spend $70 here or there or wait for a sale. People are already, weighing and balancing whether or not they want to pay full price for these games. And then you hit them with another price increase. That's just going to lead to less people buying games. And that's going to also lead to less people, maybe they had your game in mind to buy, this year, like 2025. Let's say somebody is like, I have 5 must play games that I want to buy day one, right? And then the industry is like, okay, we're moving the price to $100 now. $100 is the base price for games. Your game might be the game where they cut off and they're like, okay, well, it's $100 now, so I'm only going to buy 3 games this year, right? So that's just going to lead to some games out here in this industry just not getting bought. Like, it is what it is, and I don't think it's gonna this type of price hike. Like we've said, if yes, inflation is a thing, but it's not like we're getting more, cost of living. It's not like we've said, we're not getting paid more. So just because inflation is affecting you does not mean that we have the resources to now, okay, we're going to spend more on gaming now. That's just not where we're at right now. So to think that $100 would be okay and that this wouldn't have a hugely negative effect on the game industry, yeah, that's no. Nah, it's not happening. I don't see it happening. It makes no sense. GTA will make millions upon millions, if not $1 billion. I mean, there's already been predictions that it'll probably make that, and I have no doubt it will, and it will do it without it having to be $100. So, it's gonna make more. It's probably gonna outsell GTA 5, right? Which I think is one of like the highest selling games of all time.
I think it's
So
definitely going to outsell GTA 5.
yeah, so it doesn't need to be $100. They're gonna make an asinine amount of money without it having to be $100. And that's purely, not just the game sales, but also, the online spending that people are going to do, especially if they give us like a next gen GTA Online, the GTA Online 2, whatever they decide to call it, the next iteration of GTA Online, where you can do even more than you could do in the current one. Oh yeah, it's gonna go crazy. Like, people are gonna spend they're gonna spend like just astronomical amounts of money on that. So I think Rockstar knows well that, where they make their money, and there's really no need to increase the price of the base game, because that's not even where they make most of their money from anyway. So
Yeah, I agree. It's not
I-
really worth it. And like like most of us have already said, I mean, people are already they're already complaining about the amount of games the majority of gamers buy day one in the first place. Increasing the price is just going to lessen that. Someone spoke, especially people who are on a more fixed income. Somebody stated the other day that $100 would be 1/10 of their income. They're physically disabled, so on and so forth, right? Like, so their income's not going to change just because they're excited for a game. Like, they can't just go out and bust out, and do a couple Uber runs or things like that. So they just got to deal with it. So they were just like, they would just be completely out of day one games entirely. And it's like,
yep.
you definitely don't want to hear that as a publisher or developer bringing out a brand new game that someone's excited for.
You're going to see a lot more game sharing. You're going to see, hey, it might be good for Game Pass. You might see Game Pass finally meet the,
The quota, yeah.
the numbers that they're trying to get. That would probably be great for Microsoft. You're going to see a lot more pirating on PC. I'll tell you that much.
You
People
will
are going to
definitely
be
see a lot more pirating.
stealing like a mother freaker. And I can't even be mad because honestly, $100 is, they're crazy if they think I'm paying that. So I wouldn't even be mad at that. So it's like, you're going to get a result that's not going to get you more profit. So it's not worth, the juice is not worth the squeeze in this situation.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, like, I mean, Henry had said it in the chat, most people buy about 4 games a year as it is, which is ironic that he stated that after Thrifty came in the chat, because I believe that's Thrifty's role currently, or at least it used to be, before he started balling as a YouTuber. But
yeah, a lot of people have it like that. And if you increase the price to 100, like I said, it might be that people start cutting down. Like, okay, I was going to buy game A, B, C, and D. Now I'm just going to get A and B.
I'm
now
definitely
C and D are
down.
just left to dry. Like, and it's, which is not good for anybody because your game as a developer or publisher might be on that list where people were just like, well, I would have bought it at 70, but it's 100 now, so that's just out the question. I'll just pick it up on a sale, or I'll pirate it, or I'll just wait till it gets on PS Plus or Game Pass or something, right? So it's just, you're left to hope that your game is just good and is just that game that a lot of people want to play, and that's the game that they're prioritizing, because $100 is just that's asking people a lot.
Well, that I don't think people understand how 2 games stacks up compared to that. Like the two always prefer the 2 game thing, right? Because I've seen so many times people are like, oh, this game and that game came out, and you see the pictures on Twitter where so I picked up both of them. I was like, so imagine when games were 60, that was $120. Then it went to 140. If you shot to $100, the person is coming out 200 plus after tax. Hell no.
You got to mention the fact, like, what Weave and Omar have to pay, right? In Euro, that's going to be even more than 100. It's going to be like 110, 20 for them, right? So it's going to be even more for them over there. So, and it's, I can't, like, it doesn't make sense in this market to do that right now. It's just, it's not feasible. And it's not a good look for, like, I'd hate to be the publisher who thinks they're going to be the first one after Rockstar to increase that price, because that's going to be some insane backlash from consumers.
Absolutely.
They're just going to end up having to revert it. They're going to be like, okay, we've heard the feedback, we're sorry, blah blah blah, we're gonna lower the price back to $70. We hear you, gamers. And like, yeah, you heard, because you saw the insane bad publicity that you were getting from thinking that you could charge $100 for your game. And that's the type of price point where people start to look at, time versus money, right? Like, okay, I'm spending $100. How long is your game? What am I getting out of this? Is there a multiplayer included? What's the longevity? Like, what's the replayability for this game, right? And if you're just having a single player experience, nothing wrong with that, because that's what I prefer. I think that's what most of us prefer in here. But a lot of people are going to be like, well, it's a 15 to 20, maybe 30-hour experience for $100. I don't know about that. That's not something that I see is worth it. I'll just go over here to this free to play game. I'm not spending $100 for just to play a game once and then never touch it again.
Yeah.
So
I'm gonna start reading books.
Exactly.
Man, start doing something else.
Right back to reading. Shoot.
But no, like, I mean,
it is true though, because I if compare, like, with going to the cinema, like, I've heard people say, like, yeah, I'm not. I used to go with their family to watch a movie, and they're not gonna do it anymore because it's so expensive. Like,
It's
it costs them
expensive
more.
for a family. Shoot.
Yeah. I mean, and that then it's a viable. Okay, yeah, we stay at home. We buy Netflix and just watch a movie there, which generally will be there in a month or so, whatever. Anyway, so that's kind of, and that's like I said, like you said as well, like that's a great way to push these gaming servers that you don't want your game to be on there day and day, because you're going to lose too much money. But that's a great way to push people towards that, because that they're going to consider that more value to the money, even if it's not necessarily the case. Like, even if you just have that thing and you never use it, but for people, like that's going to be a threshold. And like I said, like, I think that the only reason why you want to make your successful franchise and sell it $100 is if you want to experiment and see, how do I tank $1 billion franchise? Like, if can I do it? That's the only reason why I would even entertain the thought of raising the price only to $100.
Yeah, I agree.
Absolutely.
But yeah, no, like they said in the chat, but I was talking to Priscilla while you guys were going over this, and she said that, and Thrifty said it in the chat too. That would make, Game Pass seem incredibly viable at that point.
Yeah. I'll start singing that Game Pass theme song real quick.
Yeah.
Game Pass.
Exactly.
We don't take 2 zeros against Game Pass.
Yeah, like, I mean,
he is. Because he knows how much money he makes. That's the thing. That's what we keep saying. He knows how much money Rockstar makes on game sales, and this precedent would not be good for Rockstar or anybody else. Like, it's just not one. I don't think they want to touch it with a 10-foot pole, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that it was even mentioned, if they were considering it, I would have reverted it immediately. So the fact that all this came out and listening to what everybody's saying, I would have reverted it immediately. Like,
Right,
I'd be like, I'm not going to be the catalyst. Like,
nah, I'm good.
Yeah, you're not going to blame me
exactly,
for that.
Exactly. If Rockstar was considering the $100 price point, I would hope that seeing people's reaction online would kind of deter them. Like, oh, they don't want that.
Like I said, throw in a couple cars, so some dope outfits or something, and the first single player DLC.
Exactly.
And then charge me $100.
The ultimate deluxe special edition to be $100. That's their business. They want that, fine, right? But just make sure the base game that the like we said, the basic bitch package is $70. Okay, that you want to charge $100 for some extra shark bucks and outfits and guns and stuff. Cool, but that basic bitch package needs to be $70.
Whew, dang. Thrifty said they had movies and a pizza. It was $175. Lord have mercy.
Bruh, for a family.
Lord have mercy.
To go to the movies and pizza. See, that's the thing. That's why Netflix is as popular as it is right now in all the streaming services. Yeah. That's insane.
I mean, I don't really go to the movies like that myself, and it's only two of us. So, yeah, I can't even imagine having to go with all those people, especially now more than ever. We all got OLEDs and all that stuff.
And that was expensive, right?
That's mad expensive. They all got to have their own individual popcorn. So you got to get the kids version that comes with a slushie. It has all this other stuff. So it's just like, it is insane.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, we beat that one down. We let them know what it is.
We beat it.
So yeah, but speaking of failed games and the potential for failed games going forward like that, you have several games that have failed even despite their multi-platform nature or latter multi-platform releases, which we were all told was the solution to failed expectations and failed markers for CEOs and companies who are upset. If you're upset and you're not hitting your targets, release multi-platform. Give everybody your game. Give all these people a chance, and you'll have that problem will go away. It'll go into the ether. It'll never exist again. And yet, we have several examples of multiple products failing that were either launched multi-platform day and date or released later and failed miserably. Or come to abysmal sales, starting with Final Fantasy 16 and now Final Fantasy 7 Rebirth doing absolutely terrible on their PC releases, selling sub 1 million. I think there's sub 500,000 in fact from what I saw, and then on top of that you had Dragon Age Veilguard underperforming, which was honestly a good, what I figured was a good estimate, right? They wanted 3 million, right? That's not crazy. That's not Square Enix numbers expecting 10 to 15 million or some crazy nonsense. 3 million was solid. I'm actually kind of surprised myself at the 1.5 million. But again, this is attributed to a lot of things, right? This is a combination of a couple things, right? Obviously, Veilguard released on all platforms. So again, that is not the be all end all solution, or as my boy Logic said on the Brap show the other night, it is not the silver bullet solution we were all promised it was. Because that's what everybody acts like. They're like, oh, the answer to all your problems, release multi-platform.
It sold basically Astrobot numbers on multiple
It sold Astrobot numbers on all platforms. Ain't that interesting?
The crazy part is this is Dragon Age we're talking about.
Yeah.
This is not an unknown IP.
It's
from a publisher
by the way, I don't think it's sales, right? Because it said players.
Oh,
is it that's even worse? Oh God.
Wait, it wasn't on Game Pass, right?
No, it wasn't. No.
Okay.
You had to buy it wherever you played it. Hell, we bought it twice. Priscilla.
Oh yeah, Priscilla played it on Steam and
PS5. She bought it on Steam and then loved it so much she bought it on PS5. So
yeah,
I mean, I did my part. I can't do no more than that. But yeah, there were a lot of obviously there were a lot of issues. I'm not just saying they didn't sell just for funsies. Dragon Age was just veiled, for lack of a better term, in a lot of
Oh,
controversy.
this he thought
Oh,
it was
Uh,
funny. He thought he was funny with
uh,
that.
yeah,
how dare you,
Boo,
sir? How dare you?
boo.
yeah, but
It's gonna
before
have a lot.
Tomato.
I know, I know.
Boo.
But yeah, I mean, it did have a lot of controversy before launch. You had the director, who has since ejectocito cuz out of her director position and left the company expeditiously, following these player announcements, player
Oh,
number
she did. Oh,
announcements.
okay.
Yeah, she left. Uh,
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah,
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, it
yeah,
was
but look, the problem with Veilguard is a, obviously, last year was crazy in terms of releases. Like we don't, yeah, we had a year before as well, but after COVID, we had such a sort of like a dam basically of that sort of delayed all these games, and now they're coming out, and they had this massive, increase in spending, consolidation. So obviously, you're gonna have an oversaturation of the market. So launching even a known IP is a huge risk. Game was had trouble development. Like it was like in development hell. It's like restarted like 3 times basically. Like
yeah,
Yeah.
they did.
first iteration,
Wasn't it supposed to be
completely
like
different.
a multiplayer
It
game
was supposed to be.
Yeah, that was
initially?
Yeah,
that was the second iteration, and the third one is what we got eventually. And even that is very. If you play the game, they're even within the game there are things set up that are not paid off, because they clearly made some cuts here and there. So it's not surprising that this is the least. It didn't fail because of controversy or anything in terms of it's woke or whatever. Because if that's your issue, you never play a Dragon Age game. Like in Dragon Age 2, you could literally every companion was bisexual. So it's insane if you think that that's the reason why it failed. The only reason why it failed is indeed, oversaturation in the market, trouble development, and yeah, I mean, in the end, it is easily, you could argue it's the worst Dragon Age game, which doesn't make it a bad game, but just the quality, wasn't there. Like longtime Dragon Age fans, including myself, can see that, yeah, there, even though it's, if it wasn't a Dragon Age game, it would be fine. But it's a Dragon Age game, so we expect better. We expect, a higher level of quality, a higher level of quality of writing, of storytelling, and we're missing that. And of course, entire interconnectedness. There was no world stage you could import. Like there was barely any consequence of your actions of previous games.
agreed.
And and that's something that certainly hurt it, because even longtime fans might have decided to not, engage with it because they were disappointed. Like they were felt like, yeah, not my Dragon Age, basically, that kind of thing. Um, Plus, it has been a long fucking time, after Inquisition. That's also a thing. Like, even though Dragon Age is a known IP and certainly has a hardcore following, and even then, I think like Inquisition did maybe 12 million. There are no actual numbers or
Yeah,
estimates. Uh, but the previous games did like 2 or something million. Of course, different times. So in that time, those times, that was actually very successful compared to
Yeah.
now. Um, but yeah, I mean, even then, it again, it's not like, yeah, we were just talking about GTA, like you can afford to wait 30 years for next GTA. It's that powerful as a brand.
Hmm.
But Dragon Age doesn't necessarily have that. The other IPs don't have that leeway where you can just wait a decade, with the next iteration of the game, and expect people, to still remember it. Because there are, of course, the fans will remember it, but there won't be enough people, say, of the casual quality, whatever you want to call them, who will remember it. Like they might have remembered, oh, there was a game called Inquisition, but they won't remember, oh yeah, yeah, there was a franchise surrounding that.
Yeah.
Um, So yeah, I mean, it is what it is. Like I'm not happy with this, obviously, because I do want to see more Dragon Age games, and this makes it less likely that we're gonna get one anytime soon. Um, but yeah, I'm not surprised in the sense that you know it everything that I've seen around what I've seen, experience, and the way this market works, yeah, it was never going to be like a massive success. I mean, and they barely advertised. That's the other thing. Like there was barely any advertisement surrounding this game. So I'm not surprised that a lot of people didn't pick it up. So and yeah, who knows? Maybe it'll grow legs and suddenly people discover it later on. But yeah, the way the market is cluttered right now with like even this year tons of releases, the year of GTA 6.
Shoot.
I'm I'm not expecting it to suddenly be a sleeper hit or something like that. But
Yeah.
yeah, I'm disappointed as well. Like I did hope it would do better, but I'm not surprised in the sense that this
Mhm.
does feel like assuming that's sort of the actual numbers in terms of sales that did what it did. It is what it is.
Yeah. So I mean, I agree with
Oh
what you
fuck
were
you.
saying. I wish it definitely did better because, like I said, I'm a fan. I do like the game. What Henry said, I do still find the preaching portion of it, which is very, very minuscule. I do hate when that character does it. I do find it annoying because it feels super weird to me. But regardless, it doesn't take away from what I enjoyed of the game. One thing I did want to note, the other thing that definitely didn't help it, despite its overall reviews doing pretty well, I think it still got like an 86 or something. Man, it did
Mhm.
not help getting eviscerated by some longtime fans. One being particularly Skill but one of my issues I had with his review, now that I've played the game, and this is something for a lot of people, right? And this is a very gamer centric thing, right? Gamers feel some type of way about playing on easy, right? Especially reviewers. They're always like, "Oh, I gotta play it on normal, like it was intended," whatever. And it's like, no, you actually don't. Unless that is in your embargo or some other nonsense, you don't have to play it on normal. So one of the things that he said was an issue, right, was he found the enemies too spongy, or they took too much damage, and he wanted to. Although he liked the fighting, he felt like it started to take too long. Bro, if you don't slap that on easy and keep it pushing, because that is exactly what I did. I have no problem slapping something on easy if I feel like it does not alter the game, it does not change something drastic, and it's not going to ruin my experience. I have no problem slapping it on easy. If I find enemies too spongy and that is something that changes dramatically when you put it on easy, then I'll do that, and then I'll enjoy the game. Guess what? A lot more. So a
Yeah.
lot of gamers need to start utilizing the tools, because this is a very big frustration for me. A lot of gamers need to start utilizing the tools that you have available to you to cater your experience to what you like, and stop trying to be, Souls like player of the year, Mr. All Go No
Yeah.
Quit.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I gotta play on the hardest difficulty. No, you don't. Like, if you're not enjoying that, stop doing that. Like, it's so annoying. Like, when you have the available tools,
Souls Souls ruin gaming.
bro, it's
It
so
really
it's
did.
so annoying. Like, I'm like, bro, if I didn't get smacked and died in 2 hits in the first 30 minutes, bro, then this game is too easy, bro. Like, no, like, but it's like it causes people to like have a bad mentality when they play other games, and then they're like other aspects, like things that they have available to them. Like I said, like the enemies having too much health. You have an easy solution right there, literally easy solution, and they don't do it. It's like it
I
doesn't
think
it doesn't even compute.
I think it's a pride
I
in
mean,
gaming.
I know it's a pride. Yeah, like I mean, Priscilla talks about all the time. The pride or ego of gamers is massive. A lot of people will tell you that. Like, I don't run
I
around
have
telling people I'll play it on easy, but I don't really care. So I was like, dude, does it
I
matter? No, it doesn't.
if I beat the game, I'm gonna play on easy to get the plot. That's no issue for me.
Yeah, I will
But
immediately
playing the
look up
game on
difficulty
easy,
trophies. If there is no difficulty trophy, and I decide, even if there is one, if I ultimately decide the game is too annoying or too frustrating and I would enjoy it on an easier difficulty, I will drop that shit down in a moment without
Mm-hmm.
zero
Yeah,
hesitation.
I think it comes down to life is too short to
Yeah,
put
why
that
are you
much
sitting there
effort.
being frustrated when you have a solution to the issue? Like this is
Yeah,
why
it's true.
games are so customizable now more than ever. I forgot what game we saw recently. Oh, it was Doom. He was talking about how customizable the game is now. The difficulties,
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
like you have sliders for I think enemy health and a bunch of other
Yeah, that's
stuff.
cool.
Yeah, like I was like,
Yeah.
see, there you go. That's exactly what I'm talking about. Adjust it to your liking. You don't have to play on the default setting. Like I don't know why gamers have such an issue with that. Like it's so weird. But yeah, like that would have been like an easy solution to that problem. That was one big issue that I had with him, which is why again when I talked to Morgan, because I love Skill Up's articulation in his reviews, even if I disagree, his articulation and why he was frustrated or why he didn't like something is always really well thought out, right? And after I listened to it, because I rarely listen to any reviews, but I was really interested in this one. Um, because I wanted to see what he said, especially as someone who was also a longtime fan. And that was one of his literal biggest issues. And when I had told Morgan, like, I definitely want to play it for myself because I want to see if I find that same issue. Right.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I probably would have, again, if I would have just left it on normal, but I didn't. And I think on top of that, a lot of people I've seen that did reviews were playing on hard, which is going to make the enemies even more spongy. And then again, that was a big complaint from a lot of other people. And I'm like, stop playing on a difficulty you don't like. Like
Yeah,
I don't know why that's a thing. Like
yeah.
it's cool if you like it, but don't, you know?
If you're gonna play on hard, you know for a fact you're gonna get spongy enemies,
It-
right?
Ugh.
yeah, and like I played the normal, and I had no issue with spongy enemies. It's the only issue I had with is that um it's too easy to lose lock on with characters. So
Mm-hmm.
if you're, and that's sort of why I didn't play as a rogue, because a rogue has uh, their special energy is based on momentum, and basically it resets every time you get hit. It's too easy to get hit because you can get hit by enemies that are off screen, and that's the only thing that annoyed me with the combat. I didn't really feel like enemies were that spongy. So, if that's like it, if you feel that's a complaint, that's fine. But if that's sort of the reason why you dislike a game, it that yeah, I don't think this game would be a perfect example of that. But yeah,
Mm-hmm.
No.
back to you, Nate.
No, yeah. No, I agree. Um
I think it all comes down to Fox Mamba said it. It's ego. I say we, I mean most gamers play games not per se for ego, but like give them ego boost. Trophy, give them ego boost.
Well, I mean that
So
we talked about that with the whole idea of people being upset that PlayStation, although there is a hard difficulty, PlayStation no
Oh
longer
yeah,
gives a
difficulty
trophy
trophies.
for the hard difficulty,
Yeah.
and a bunch of people were upset, and it was like, why are you upset if you genuinely just enjoy the hard difficulty? You
Yeah,
don't
you can
need the
still change it
trophy.
to hard. Nothing, the hard difficulty still be there. You just don't get a trophy for it. But yeah, like you said,
no,
it's ego. They want to be able to say, I look, I have proof that I played it on the hardest difficulty, and that's where I beat it.
yeah, I
Exactly.
know for a fact, at least for me, the only way I enjoy a game being hard, hard difficulty, is if it offers something different, like how Final Fantasy VII Rebirth a remake did was hard. I know Innate absolutely
Oh,
hate that mode
I hate that mode. But
because
yes,
that
it
makes
is a
the
very
game
good example of
unique.
how you can make it unique without making it just more spongy. So yeah,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
don't
that's
disagree with
why.
people who like hard there. Like, don't just give the enemies a 10 million hit pool of health and be like, hey, here's hard mode. Like actually make the mechanics change, stuff like that. And games have done it well, obviously before. You've had plenty of games where like you said, it adds different mechanics to each phase of the boss fight, stuff like that. Now he breathes fire when before he didn't breathe fire and swing at you at the same time. Now you got to dodge both, or
And you
whatever and
can't
whatnot.
rely on magic all the time because you have unlimited MP and you can't hit MP,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
They like that add gameplay variety. Like you're no longer relying on your normal playthrough, where basically you run and kill every enemy and call it a day. Now you need to prioritize which enemy do I take out? Do I avoid enemies? And focus only on strictly on bosses. Like that's what I love about that. But I didn't watch Skill Up, but real talk, I don't trust
Well,
Skill
no,
Up.
well, what I was saying is I watched him
Nobody
because
trust Philip. No.
yeah, because I'm a longtime fan of Dragon Age, and I knew
I used
he mentions that in his review, so I wanted to see what he thought before I played, since I'm also someone who's played all of the other games. I wanted to see if I aligned with what he was thinking, because sometimes I do find that some reviewers are ultimately jaded and just they're playing
Mhm.
too many games and stuff's kind of blending together, and they will dock points for something because like the last game they played was really hot and did it well, and then now they get into this game and even though it did it well, it didn't do as well as that last game they played it, and they're just like, oh well, it's not The Witcher 3, so well, got to dock points there, or something like that. So I get how it can kind of blend together and get kind of lost in the sauce, as they say. um so yeah, I just wanted to see for myself and see what they did. But yeah, like they mentioned in the chat as well, uh Hero was saying that he made Horizon and Ghost of Tsushima harder, right? And I know a lot of people did on those, right? I think I played Ghost of Tsushima on the harder difficulty at one point to try it out, and I think I might have left it on like once I became like a really stronger ghost and stuff like that, just because it made like the crazy sword fights crazier. Like they just challenged you a lot more, and I was like, all right, cool, like that was fun. Like it felt fair, but I get to decide that, right? And that's what I love about that. Horizon always played on normal, but I know a lot of people would say they like the harder difficulty with Horizon. It didn't bother me, but again, I know a ton of people who play Horizon on the harder difficulty. Kay, of course, especially. She went back to play on the hardest
yeah,
difficulty that they added to the game, and she was having a ball with it. Um, so yeah, I definitely get that. And then Priscilla mentioned Grounded for Naughty Dog, which is actually funny enough one of the few games where I really do love the harder mode. Um, but I love it the way that I do it, which is I go in with the new game plus stats and go in that way. But some people like to just play Grounded right off the rip, without anything added. But it is very interesting and it changes your dynamic, right? You have to be really careful with your shivs. You have to be really careful with your upgrades, or you can find yourself in a group of clickers with no shivs and not enough materials very, very quickly. And they're also another team that utilized the sliders, right? How much you could come out with a completely custom game mode that had a ton of stuff in it, but was harder, right? So you could get grounded difficulty, but you were like, yo, I don't want to have to look for struggle for, for things to build my shivs and ammo and stuff like that. I just want to play it on the harder difficulty, and you could do that. Like to me, I think that is amazing. Anybody who's a developer that can afford to do that, those custom sliders that give you exactly what you want out of your difficulty, I think is
Mhm.
great. I think a lot of people can learn from that. But
Yeah,
yeah,
shout out to Doom for that. That's really cool. I didn't see that part in the presentation, but that's cool that you can adjust, things like that, like enemy health and stuff. That's cool. That should be
yeah,
a feature wide thing, especially if you're a AAA developer. That's a nice feature.
I agree. It leads into better accessibility
Yeah.
for your game, which could potentially lead to better sales, which is, ultimately what we're talking about, right? Like so many times, a lot of games, the difficulty can lock out a portion of your fan base, right? Sometimes it doesn't matter, and you still sell well, like Elden Ring or so on and so forth, due to all the hype and fanfare, and it gets people
but
caught
like
up.
you know what you're getting yourself into.
Yeah, yeah, you definitely got to know what you're getting yourself into. I'm sure some people bought Elden Ring though and got smacked in the face, and had no idea what they were getting into. But yeah, ultimately, like I said, moral of the story is regardless, there's a lot of reasons why a lot of games don't sell. Um, but it is kind of ironic that the sales numbers and player numbers for these games in particular are fairly low, despite their eventual multi-platform or launch date multi-platform, and yet, like you said, the criticism that is being levied against Astrobot for selling 1.5 million, as essentially a new IP. His first real big game that wasn't locked behind VR or something else. Um, so yeah, it's kind of interesting how that works out, but yeah, clearly, just being multiplayer is not the answer. So if anybody thought that was the answer, Square Enix, uh, just be real careful how you moving in the future.
Well,
Oh
Enix
man.
are in a different spectrum. We're gonna talk about it.
They're in a different spectrum.
Yeah, with their, they have locked the ball so hard they don't know what they're doing,
Oh yeah,
and
you're
it's
talking about like their direction in general.
yeah.
Yeah, they're
Not the
definitely.
action is their mentality, their everything. Like they are a shell of what they used to be.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that. They definitely need to find themselves and get back to that whatever that secret sauce is that made all those amazing games that we loved over the years. Those Xenogears, Parasite Eves, Final Fantasy 10, 9, 6,
Yeah,
all the good stuff. So yeah, they definitely need to find that
Mhm.
somewhere. Um, but yeah, anybody else had anything else on the topic of these, multiplayer
yeah.
or multi-platform games with sales?
So I never played Vanguard, so I can't comment about that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I would say I did.
Veilguard,
Play
Yeah, it's
Omar,
Veilguard.
Veilguard.
Veilguard. Oh, thank you. I will collect the title then. Um, it's interesting to see way um what happened to it, and I'm curious how much is it because of the whole controversy with Day, which I know it's not Day and whatsoever, but like I'm being just from what I've seen. Other than that,
Zero.
like when I saw the gameplay, like yeah, no, that's a game I would absolutely enjoy playing, but I forgot if it was Morgan or NA or Weeb that stated that last year was stuck and Veilguard just didn't have any chance until unless you're a fan, and even then, with the amount of changes that they did, it was a turn for uh, some people, and yeah, and they said it 3 million for a big IP like Dragon Age is not demanding. You're not demanding. You're not asking too much, in my opinion. And to see that not even reaching that, it makes you question what's gonna happen with the franchise as a whole.
Yeah,
I just
it'll be
I just
interesting.
hope that they keep on track and they still are planning to do the next Mass Effect.
Yeah, that's somebody brought up the metric ton of pressure that must be on the Mass Effect 4 team right now. Uh,
Oh yeah.
yeah, I can't imagine what that's like. I hope they're confident in what they're making. I hope they're making something along the lines of the Mass Effect trilogy and not Andromeda, because, like
Not
somebody said,
Andromeda.
if it's Andromeda, the studio's probably done. So yeah, EA is definitely in a we don't play that mode right now. So I hope,
They're about to use this as an excuse as to why they don't make single player games again.
right?
See, this is why we don't do this. See, gamers want live service. Like, no, no,
Nah,
no,
we
no.
want good single player games.
You just suck at making them for the most part.
Yeah. So hopefully, the director of this one is sounding pretty confident. So hopefully that confidence translates to an amazing Mass Effect 4.
Hope we get
Uh,
a trailer this summer. That'd be cool.
yeah,
The
definitely
only
getting a
thing
trailer.
that the only thing they need to do is leave those motherfuckers alone. Like, don't fucking interfere. Don't try to make it a service game,
Oh
whatever.
yeah, I agree.
Just let, just give them a normal development cycle, and Bioware will deliver.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because that's definitely a big factor for this Dragon Age, the whole multiplayer thing. and all the switching and nonsense going on
Mhm.
during development.
I got,
EA needs to learn to stop interfering for sure. I agree,
I gotta,
100%.
I gotta ask, when
Hmm.
are developers gonna comprehend that going from a game and switching it to a different game is not smart? Like going from a multiplayer to single player. Like, why would you do that?
I mean,
Since you
it's really
want
so not developer but publisher because it's always
publisher, yeah.
it always comes out to the publisher did it because that was actually the big thing with Mass Effect 3 and its multiplayer and why it was good but broken. Um, Largely because honestly they're just looking to trap people who are stupid. I'm gonna be honest with you. Yeah, I'm gonna be real. Like people, a fool and his money are soon parted.
Oh,
Is the phrasing. And one of the developers came out. He said he couldn't say how much money they made right off of the Mass Effect 3 multiplayer. But one guy in particular, he did mention he saw one time on one of the sheets that one person, one player, had spent $15,000. Bro,
Jesus
that
fucking
is
Christ.
Really?
insane. I mean,
Was it Elon? Was it Elon?
it probably was, to be honest. Like, but it's crazy because that is what people like when they're looking to trap these whales, these people with too much money and not enough sense uh, to drop that kind of money. Now that person, has made up for how many people who play it that don't really spend money, right? Like how much money did he spend, in accordance with the typical people, right? Like I know the person out of all of us that spent the most money was probably my homie who was in Hawaii at the time in the Air Force, and I think even he probably dropped about $150, like just in the
Hey, if you got the
multiplayer.
money, hey.
Yeah, I mean, he was making real good money in the Air Force. So, but that's what I'm saying. Like, they're looking to like, and we all got like the Mass Effect. We're all massive super fans, right, of Mass Effect. So we all got
Mm-hmm.
the steel book, holy shit edition. $100, $120, whatever it was. So we got that on top of all spending at least a little bit in the multiplayer. Because again, it was really really fun but it was designed poorly in a way to make you spend money, uh, or you couldn't progress further. It didn't matter how good you were, right? They designed it where you needed to
Gonna
level your
get paid
weapons.
to win.
Yeah, it was definitely pay to win, and even then, even if you paid, you still could probably not win. Like it was designed really badly. Like don't get me wrong, but it was so fun. It's like you're so torn. Like you want to keep playing and you want to do the harder difficulties, but in order to do the harder difficulties, you need to level and you need to unlock um, the weapon. You need to unlock the weapon or the character again in order to level them. So out of all the weapons and all the characters, you had to get the character again in order to take them to the next level, which was pretty hard. So one way to try to get around that was to spend money to get more packs. And thankfully, we are a long way from loot boxes for the most part in a lot of games now. So thankfully, that trend has pretty much died for multiple reasons, unless you're a gotcha game. Um,
Omar.
yeah, but yeah,
I
it
hate to
was.
weep.
What a mess that was, man. But yeah, like I said, that person was crazy, and it doesn't surprise me because, like I said, I heard that's the mobile trend, right? They were tracing the mobile trend inside of these single player games, right? Because there was another guy who played Fate Stay Night, which Sony owns, which was really big overseas, like China, Japan, so on. This guy spent $68,000 or something like that.
Yeah.
He was like a Chinese businessman or something, and he was just talking about he was like they're all his like digital waifus, and he just had to have like one of the characters that came out, and he just spent like stupid amounts of money. Like he had the money,
Damn.
but like that's what I'm saying. Like they're looking to trap someone with that gambling like personality and the money to blow to do it. And I mean,
Yeah,
68,000 is crazy,
I I think he needs to be sent to a re-education camp. I think
right?
that qualifies.
Right? I was like, bro, you bought a Mercedes in a gotcha game. Of like that's crazy. Like, yeah. So yeah. There's definitely a
I
lot going
mean,
on with that.
this is why GTA 5 is so popular, the online one.
I mean, GTA Online is fun, right? And there's a there. You, I can't even. I don't have enough time to explain that to you right now about why it's popular. But there's a multitude of reasons why it's popular. It makes money because a lot of people are rushing. A lot of people are new to it. A lot of people want to jump into it and things of that nature. There are people like me who didn't drop a dime in GTA Online, and I got a yacht and like 6 businesses and a bunch of other stuff, right? There's a way to play normally. It's just that a lot of people are just not about that life. So, yeah, it just depends on the person. But yeah, they're not looking for me. They're looking for the person that's gonna, that's gonna spend that money. So, yeah,
Yeah, I
that's
got you.
what it
Let's
is.
Yeah, I
move on
definitely know
to.
dudes who've been on GTA Online since like since its inception. Like
Mhm.
that's all they play. It's like the customization of the game, the crazy amount of shit you can do in that game and the versatility is what makes it attractive to a lot of people. Just
Yep.
I mean, it has so much versatility in the little movie mode that people actually make shorts with GTA Online. Like they make videos and they make like TV episodes with GTA Online and his characters. Like I used to follow this YouTube channel that would make skits from GTA Online, and it was like the funniest shit you've ever watched. Like I would watch it weekly because the skits that he was making it on GTA Online was hilarious. Right? It was like its own thing. It's just so much creativity that you can do on GTA Online, which is what makes it popular. Um, and that's why people really like it. And so if they step it up a notch with the next gen version or whatever the next iteration of GTA Online is going to be, it's going to be crazy. Like the numbers are going to be insane for whatever the next iteration is.
Mhm. But
Definitely.
yeah, I
We
think we've beaten
Yeah, I was
the
gonna say,
topic
Morgan, you
to
can
death.
introduce the side quest topic,
Yeah.
and probably meld it with that last topic. I mean, it's pretty much an all-in-one
Oh,
discussion
Omar, you
anyway.
can since it's yours, so
Yeah,
you can go
that's
ahead,
fine.
Omar.
I'm gonna go drop Priscilla off. You guys go ahead.
Yeah.
Okay, so side quests, we all love them, at least I do, when they're good. My biggest issue becomes when what the game is asking for you is not rewarded well. So the topic is a conversation of two sides. One, why can't developers create great side quests all the time? And the second part is why are side quests not always rewarded well? And to me, it feels like if you're gonna have me go all over the map, and I'm not joking, you're literally going all over the map and doing a side quest. I think that reward should be on the level what you didn't. So basically, when you finish the side quest, the developers have anticipated what level you are, what round of uh, um, equipment you should be wearing. They should be able to reward you with something that you're like, oh, nice. Thank you. I went out of my way to do this side quest. It was long, it was tedious. Sometimes was so difficult, it could have been the final boss of the game, or rather, the most difficult boss or most difficult puzzle. And my reward is jaw dropping. Whether it's a unique weapon, it doesn't need to be the strongest weapon, right? Like it can be unique. It can like uh, shoot unicorn, shoot whatever. Like Borderlands have a lot of them. These side quests where when you finish the reward, you get some guns that you're like nice. Even what you call it, Cyberpunk has that one with that gun that talks. I love that. Up until it finishes and it no longer talks, which RIP, no longer talks. Which I had so much fun with it reloading and stuff like that. And yeah, for people it could be annoying, but at least it incites you to start the side quest and enjoy it But if you don't, you know what you're gonna get with the side quest. To me, it's a matter of I love memorable side quests. A lot of people say, including Weep, mostly Weep, that Witcher 3 side quests are the best. To me, it's between Spider-Man 2 and what you
But,
call it. Yeah.
mostly weep. I mean, I think most of the world agrees with
Okay,
me.
I'm mostly we I'm talking here from our
Uh
group.
huh.
I don't
Uh
know how
huh.
other
Uh
played
huh.
it. But yeah, no. When it comes to side quests for me, the best one was um Spider-Man 2. It had amazing one, and I'm not talking about Mary Jane. I'm talking about different one, and Ghost of Tsushima one, where you build up gradually with all your teammates, and then you do their basically main side mission, which fantastic, memorable. Like I love memorable side quests.
You have a very low bar then.
Sorry,
I say you have a very low bar then.
why do I have a low bar if one side quest hit me so much because I have bad hearing and the woman was literally deaf?
Yeah, I get it, but like you're quoting these as examples of best side quests
Yeah, for me,
you played.
because
Yeah,
at the end,
I get it if it personally hits you. I totally understand that. But like overall, in terms of writing, I'd say The Witcher 3 is absolutely king. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, I mean,
okay, so
there.
what I hate, and this is was what I dislike about Cyberpunk, a best side quest in my opinion, which is the one where you find out someone is actually being brainwashed, literally. Your
Ugh.
entire your entire memory overwritten.
Hey,
Like
spoiler.
it's a side quest. I didn't say who it is. We're good. Um, I made sure to not say who that person is because what I love about it is how insane that mission is. Like I love it. I love the thought of it. Only to be rewarded with an open-ended ending. Where I'm like, come on, that's that's a that's a letdown. At least the one with the animals was a way better side quest, ending wise. But yeah, to me, it's just I wish side quests were more
Oh man, Discord your body. I'm
Oh,
all,
I went for button. That?
You're all botting.
Oh,
yeah, your
well.
body.
Okay, you was button, now I was button. Okay, so yeah, no. It's
You were
just,
talking about Cyberpunk. That's what happens.
oh, because I talk about Cyberpunk. Okay, yeah.
Yep. Yep.
Hey, I don't make any people happy. I don't make the Cyberpunk folks happy, nor the Yakuza folks happy, nor the Witcher 3 folks happy, nor the Final Fantasy folks happy. So hey, that's just me. But yeah, no, at the end, in my opinion, memorable side quests uh, make you talk about them for a long time. It makes the game just more better. As for the reward, it make playing the game worth it, in my opinion. If you're rewarded well. But yeah, that's about it for me.
Yeah, we can take it away with what you said
Yeah, I
before.
know you don't gotta go discuss it,
Huh?
right?
Well, what are we supposed to discuss? You know,
I mean,
let,
you
let,
either agree or disagree with that statement. That's simple.
well, I think your main argument is that you wish that every developer would have these kind of side quests, and I think
Yeah,
we discussed this a bit offline. Is that it's a bit of an unrealistic expectation because it's hard to write, you know, quality level side quests. Not to say that there shouldn't be you know, a level like a bare minimum, but um, like I explained to you, having talented writers is not easy. There's plenty of writers you could probably or people who could write side quests within a development studio, but there are only a few who actually can do quality writing. Like I explained to you with Horizon, they hired the a writer who worked on Fallout New Vegas because they didn't have that internally. So that's just a reality of things. Like actually quality writers writing is something hard to come by. It's not to say it's not possible, but it you and I absolutely agree that I would love to have all my side quests well written. But I also understand that it's not always possible. And the thing is, I would set my expectations depending on what game I play. Like if it's a game from a AAA studio, AAA game, yeah, you can set your expectations high because there is a bar that has been set, which to me is a
Yeah,
Witcher
of
3. But
course. I'm not saying that to an indie game or a double A. No, I'm talking about triple A. Like of course.
yeah, I mean that then you have, depending of course on what the game is, but if it's like an RPG with side quests, yeah, uh, there's a bar, and I understand that it's going to be hard to top that, but you should at least try, and that the thing is like if your entire argument is based on the fact that yeah you want to have these kind of side quests in every major AAA RPG, and you're seeing that that's not always delivered, then sure, we are in agreement because that's something that they should strive for. But I'm also realistic that not every game can have that because not every game has the same level of talent. That every game has the resources, to be able to get somebody on board who can write on that level. And not every game needs it, of course, because even if the game might have side quests, depending on what kind of game it is, it might not necessarily, it's not distracting. Like if it's a let's say Ratchet and Clank or something, like I'm not gonna expect like Witcher 3 level writing for any side activities you can do, side quests you can do, because it's not that kind of game. But yeah, if it's a major Western RPG, yeah, sure. And I know also that there can be differences between East and West. Like JRPGs, like they can have very different types of side quests, and that's perhaps the thing that maybe you're not considering is by
You know,
overgeneralizing
um,
is
it differs. Like Persona, not Persona, Yakuza side quests are hilarious, but not everyone are is gonna vibe with them. I get you.
well, I mean that it's basically if you're into the Yakuza Like a Dragon franchise, that's part of the course. That's what you're for a lot of people are actually playing these games for because they're great, and a lot of them are also heartfelt and well written. So it's not even an argument that they are of a different quality. But I said it's a very standard JRPG might not have the same level of detail or level of writing for the cycle. The thing is, like, if your game is, for example, a very anime-like game, you're also expecting it to be in that kind of style, and then it might not. If it's sort of trying to be very typical, sort of shonen vibe, for example, it might not really fit if it has very thought provoking or very gray area side quests. And then it's fine if there are side quests that are very basic in that sense, that something you would expect, because that's sort of the kind of game it is. So I do want to add a nuance there, even if it's the same genre and maybe has the same budget. That there is it can be a difference in terms of the tone and the style of the game. Like The Witcher 3 was very much about the gray area, right? That there is not really a clear definition of what's right and wrong. They're not really heroes and villains. Like everybody has their motivation. Even the good guys will do bad things, and the side missions. A lot of them had like consequence. Like even if you didn't know necessarily that, even if you took the choice that would normally be the morally right choice, like if you help somebody, that the outcome would be that have a good outcome, or that there wouldn't be consequence down the line that might make that decision that you help somebody, yeah, bite you in the ass. So that's absolutely fantastic writing, and I love that. But it's also very fitting for that universe, and that might not fit every single universe. So, and that doesn't mean you can excuse bad writing, but the same level, is not necessarily applicable for every game. That's sort of what I want to point out to you.
I met you. Now, for me, it's all about what you call it, triple A and not double A. Like, I'm not expecting an indie to have amazing side quests to return. Like, for example, playing uh, Ender Lily Magnolia right now. I'm not gonna expect from it to have some amazing side quest. I would expect from it to have some amazing main quest. I mean, story. But that's a different conversation. But I get your point.
Yeah.
What do you
So
want to say?
I mean,
Yeah?
no, I was like, to your whole point. You know what I'm saying? I don't disagree. Like we're really saying, obviously, there's levels of expectations per genre, per studio. What they're making, what their goal is set out to be. But yeah, I mean, I don't disagree that. I mean, as far as in the regards that I would like well written uh, side quests or quests in general, I guess is more so the thing. Because this was a big thing for me last year when um, I stated I was reading a lot more books and realized like just how well written a lot of books are in comparison to the acceptable level of writing in a lot of video
Hmm.
games. And it was kind of irking me because it was like, as I was reading some of these books, I'm like, some of these guys are like amateur authors. Like, they're self published. This is their first series. And I'm like, this is written so well. And I'm like, why? So in that case, like, why is so many well written games feel few far and in between sometimes? And again, I get, like I said, they're not all RPGs, but even when they're not RPGs, like you can still have something like well written. Like to me, an example of something that was not that was well written, not overwritten. I mean, it wasn't blowing my mind, but per example, something that you also finished, RoboCop, right? I felt like RoboCop
Hmm.
fit RoboCop well. Like to me, like the story fit. It wasn't overwritten. It wasn't over the top, but it also had enough like misgivings and issues that he would face dealing with family matters and stuff like that. Because RoboCop's very rigid, right? So it's like when it was interesting to get to see him run into these issues where it's like, a child just misbehaving and not listening to their parents and stuff like that. Like a lot of that stuff was really well done to make it feel like such a great RoboCop game, right? So that's well written within that world and what it's supposed to do. Like that's what I feel like I'm really personally asking for. So whether it's a side quest, a main quest, because a lot of those really good quests in RoboCop were side quests. Like you didn't have to do them. Like you could have beelined it, killed the bad guy, and left. But I went for the platinum, so I was doing a lot more and experiencing the world. And I felt like they did a fairly good job. Like I said, again, nothing mind blowing, nothing crazy, but within that realm, I think that's all I'm personally really asking for. I do agree. I get what you're saying, Omar. I mean, I do love nothing more than unlocking the Blades of Chaos, third edition, volume 3, Kill the World. uh, you know, because I discovered this super secret side quest that was amazingly written and stuff like that. But I also get that that's not going to always be the case. I think more so for me, the importance of the side quest is that they add something um, narratively and something to the main line, right? I think that is something that CD Projekt Red does really well in Cyberpunk. Nothing ever really feels like too far off the beaten path, even when you're doing side quests. Like they feel like a part of the world. They they
Yeah, like,
they don't feel
yeah,
off.
and they funny for the most part.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, there's a lot to it, but like staying within your, I guess, the realm of writing for uh, that specific game that you're writing in, I think is really important. So yeah, yeah. I don't disagree with that, and I
And
do think they're important, and that
uh,
writing them well is also important. So,
what
and
do you care
rewards, I
about
get that.
rewards? Do you care about rewards or no?
I feel what I feel about rewards is that I feel like the reward should be appropriate to whatever I'm doing, right?
Right, I literally
So
said that.
so
That's
but
literally what
again,
I said.
but hold on. To be fair, as Morgan said at one point, not that I don't know if she said it during the discussion, but she said it earlier when y'all were having this discussion, is that that's subjective, right? So I might be like, damn, I really like that reward, and you might be like, that was okay. So we also agreed that like everybody's not going to love it, but like yeah, if I'm doing something really long, really involved, a really deep, in-depth quest, you know, I would expect that this might lead to something unique, or you know, something interesting. At least something interesting, right? It doesn't have to necessarily be a new sword or you know the cloak of like you know misgivings or something like I don't know. Like I love something that's going to add something to my character or the world, and getting a tangible
Yeah, like it
reward.
can be a unique weapon that's not the strongest, but a cool one.
Yeah, like I mean, yeah, like you like everybody really likes Skippy, right?
Yeah,
Skippy,
I
the
enjoyed
quest.
Skippy until he died.
Yeah,
I'm
until
like,
yeah.
why did you die? I enjoy. I think Skippy was a better version of that talking weapon in Borderlands.
Yeah, he was. But that's what I mean. Like it's like there's so many different ways to go about it. Like as long as it fits within that world, like Skippy really fits in the world, right? In a world that's all about cybernetics and stuff, you would expect to run into rogue AI
Yeah,
or AI that someone created that wasn't supposed to exist.
it was believable, right? Like, you didn't think, oh, that make no sense. Or a gun that talks, that have a conscience. Like, I even love the side quest with that vending machine. That felt more like a human than an actual human. Like,
Yeah.
you can. Not every side quest needs to be bombastic with, action or stuff like that. Like, it that was a memorable one, and it had zero fighting up until the last, where you fight one little dude, you can literally kill him easily.
Yeah, I think
It
the
just
important thing we're saying is like ultimately just don't try not to add useless side quests
yes, yes,
to your games, and whether that is narratively or reward wise or you know other like there should be a purpose to it
yes.
existing. I don't even
Try
mind, like I
not
said,
to make
people say
them.
fetch quests, but I've also done quests that would be deemed a fetch quests where the point though was ultimately a narrative exposition that happened later and led into other things happening. That the fetch quest was just it was just a way to get from point A to point B. Um, but that sparked the whole thing happening and the whole rest of what was going on with the main story. So it was just a facilitator. So I think that's important to really understand so that people don't waste their time. And JRPGs don't don't do this typically when they're linear, but some that try to get overly crazy with the side quests can definitely get crazy and start adding rudimentary side quests. Just go collect these 10 items, like stuff like that. I definitely think, again, like I said, if they're not going to serve a purpose, they could definitely tone those down.
I agree.
But yeah,
But if
I
you wanna
missed some
go
of it.
and create something amazing, I'm gonna appreciate my time with it. It's gonna be memorable for me. But make the reward make sense. Not have me run the entire map and then reward me with, oh, that's a green. Something you can get literally at the beginning of the game. You're welcome. Now go fuck off. Like
I
that's
mean,
a
that's also going to depend on the game, right? Open world games can
hey,
also
open
can
world it is.
open world can also have issues like that, which is a joke that is very prominent, which is why that TikTok video that we all seen where he gets to the guy and he does the first quest and he goes, "Oh, here's a sword that's really great." And he goes, "No, I already have the sword of like undead." Like, yeah,
Yeah.
so that's sometimes that is the player's fault for deciding they want to go everywhere but
I
where they're
get
supposed to
you,
go.
but this one, I literally not only had to go out of my way to do it. It literally, how do I say that? It's it's a high level side quest, and you can't do it up until you get what you call it, swimming. So it's not like that you can do it and call it a day. Now you need equipment to be able to do it, and then they reward you with what with something that I'm like, that's literally a bit. You literally took me halfway through the game only to reward me with something that's literally beginning of the game. Make it make sense.
Maybe they felt like the
But
quest itself was the reward. I don't know.
yeah,
Oh man, the
basically,
reward was the journey.
Right?
basically,
Right? I mean, sometimes that's how it is, right? But yeah, I know we had the other one, but I mean, we're
you
approaching
wanna talk about
we're approaching three
uh
hours, so I don't want to go too far over 3 hours because it gets crazy.
okay. You wanna
Um,
remove the topic for
yeah,
next week then?
yeah, we'll save that one for next week just in case, because then we can really
Okay.
save some time to elaborate on it. So yeah, but no, I laughed at Hero's comment earlier, um, when he said he said something here. Oh, he said a bad reward at the end of a high commitment side quest is like foreplay without the climax. Oh man.
Aw. They said blue balls for everyone.
Yeah, that was a good one, Hero. I like that. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, we turned it into a great show. Like I said, we had a lot to cover. It was a lot of fun. A lot of good games to play is always the reward when it comes to gaming that we like to have. So whatever it is that you like to play, there's got to be something out there for you to play right now. I know plenty of us have got crazy backlogs. It's just been
Are you bragging, sir? Are you bragging?
I mean,
Little bit.
I mean, yeah, I definitely got a massive one myself. So yeah, but either way, plenty to play. I mean, you've got Yakuza coming up, which is going to be amazing. Morgan's going to play it as well. They said I might even jump on it if all this other stuff keeps getting delayed. I mean, I myself am going to give Avowed a shot via Game Pass, see how that works out.
I feel sorry for you.
Yeah, man, I do what I do. If I enjoy it, no need to feel sorry for me. Now, if I don't,
No,
then there you
you
go.
enjoy a lot of things that I don't enjoy.
Yep. But yeah, like I
So
said,
can be
hopefully.
said about you, Omar.
Oh god, yeah, yeah. Omar's gonna play his 47th Metroidvania this year.
Absolutely. Absolutely. There is no question about it. I literally Googled on YouTube Metrovania for 2024.
Oh,
I need
yeah.
to finish.
Logic said, yeah, the 5,000 series cards coming out this week too.
Oh yeah, yeah. So yeah, I almost
So we'll see that.
forgot about that. Priscilla definitely will not let me forget about that because she definitely wants me trying to pull one of those from Best Buy. So we'll see how that luck works out. I've actually gotten pretty lucky before with some stuff from Best Buy. I'm hoping Best Buy's website breaks again, like it did for like it did when the PS5 came out, and then everybody went to sleep, and I was the only one awake. And then I would just happen to be up when Wario
That's how I got my
tweeted.
PS5.
Yeah. Yeah, that was great. That was like the biggest blessing in disguise. I was so frustrated, and then later got my PS5 because the website was broke. I loved it. So hopefully, we can manage that so Priscilla can get her graphics card. But yeah, that's going to be big as well. I'm hearing they're doing some camp out events for the 50 series as well. So only in person events so that they can get some of these cards in the hands of actual gamers and not people just looking to sell them for 5 grand.
Interesting. So
Yeah,
they're cracking down on respect.
yeah, they have some in-person events. One of the discords I'm in that is literally meant to do nothing but track graphics cards. They were talking about it, saying they had some in-person events. Also know someone who's a store manager at Best Buy, so I might try to holler at them and be like, you know,
Ooh,
can you make
it's
this
good
one
to have
fall off the back of the
insider.
truck? And
This man and his connects, man.
I'm like, look, man, we family. I went to your son's wedding. Like,
Family.
like I love him like a brother. Like, come on, man. Like, just I'm not asking for it for free. I just need you to put it to the side and just make sure it doesn't show up on the manifest until I'm ready to buy it. But yeah, the Best Buy heard nothing. I said nothing. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, without further ado and delay, we'll let the people know where you can find us, and we'll get ready to get up out of here. Let the people know where they can find you, sir.
You can find me on Twitter and Blue Sky as the Weep Sheriff at Infinite Rhizome. And yeah, Auto Nation.
Otter Nation.
Otter Nation.
Morgan, where can the people find you, ma'am?
Oh, you're definitely find me on Twitter talking about something. I mean, we're about to get started with this year's, massive game spree. So you'll see me talking
Oh
about him on
yeah,
Twitter.
it's time
Yeah,
time for the
about that
starting
time.
line.
Birdman hands. It's about that time. So you'll definitely see me on Twitter tweeting about some games. But yeah, good podcast episode. Great discussions. Shout out to the chat. The back and forth. But yeah, Otter Nation.
Otter Nation.
Auto Nation.
Karaba, let the people know where they can find you, sir.
Shout out to everyone that came through. Hit that like button, share the stream out. You can find me @Carbo_Shop on Twitter and Otter Player Podcast. I mean Vitamin G Podcast every Monday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Great show, great conversation. See you next week. We're gonna break Square Enix needs cup because they need to be broken.
So sometimes you got to break them down to build them back up, and
Yep,
I think that's where
absolutely.
Square's at right now. So hopefully they do better. Hopefully they learn their lesson and get their management under control. Uh, but yeah,
That's cute.
Kay will be home
Yeah,
soon, so she'll
no.
probably join us next week. Uh, she's out there working hard in them semi truck
Nice.
streets. Nelson as well. So, like I said, we got to episode 50 of the official Otter Players podcast. And because Logic is here, I'm gonna say it. From the Enough to Keep Going podcast. If you don't know, check that man out. Always great content, always great analytics. So, in honor of the homie being here for the first time for our 50th, I'm gonna say good night, good luck, and good gaming. And we're out of here.